Hello, hello, hello. Lots of me in the last few days, so here I am again tonight. But as promised, for the last week or so, I am definitely going to start talking about Daniel's accusers once again. And there's lots going on in some other cases that we've talked about, and I'll still keep up with those the best that I can, particularly the Idaho 4 case, because I just got into it and I just can't get away from it. It's astounding and shocking and horrific. So I'll keep it in touch with the information that new information that comes out about that case as much as possible as well. Um, but tonight we're going to fall in line with. Um, hey Blair, it's great to see you. Kay, it's great to see you as well. Kay, I think you told me you're going to be driving but listening in, so eyes on the road. But it's great to have you here, Blair. It's really good to see you. I haven't seen you for a long time. Um, but tonight we're going to get back on track to we've just been following along with these accusers the way that Brian Bates presents them in his podcast. And I put some links in the description already, I think, regarding Brian Bates, where you can find his podcasts and and his Facebook link. You could go to holtzclawtrial.com. I didn't link it, although I think it's on my about page or something in my YouTube. But Brian Bates is not, well, he's removed everything from that website as far as the accusers go. And, but you can still listen to each of the episodes on Apple or Beanpod or Podbean or whatever. And wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find it just looking under Bates Investigates. But oh, hey, Cherie. Yeah, thank you. I could use some help up here tonight because it's been a while since I've read through all of Shardayreon Hill's stuff, and your memory is much better than mine. So, and Kay's driving, so your help will be wonderful. Anyway, the reason, from what I understand, the reason that he removed everything from his website, holtzclawtrial.com, had to do with him, the prosecutors, no, not the prosecutors, in the civil case, all of the plaintiff's attorneys were trying to get all of Brian Bates's information that he had on Daniel's case. Um, Brian Bates explains in his podcast, or if you look on the homepage actually of holtzclawtrial.com, it will tell you, how he became involved and why. But basically, he was the investigator for um, Daniel's defense team. So he had retrieved or gotten a hold of all of the pertinent information in the investigation for the defense. So it's not like Brian Bates just got on the internet and looked for a couple of some research or whatever on the internet and found it. He has legitimate documents and information, and the plaintiff's attorneys were trying to get him to were filing motions with the civil suit judge to get his information that he had. And so from what I understand, he just said, you know what, screw this, you guys you need to find your own information. And because it's just as readily available to them as it is to him. And it's kind of, it doesn't make sense that the accuser's attorneys want the investigator for Daniel's defense team to give them all of his, information. That's very logical to me. So from what I understood, he was planning to take it all down from the holtzclawtrial.com website and just make the podcasts themselves available um, on where you can find your podcasts. So we'll listen to some of that tonight from the podcast, and um, we'll listen to a little bit of a police interview as well that Shardayreon Hill did with Detective Rocky Gregory. Hey, Susan, it's so great to see you. You haven't been around for so long. We've missed you. TJ Lurking, great to see you. Great to see you here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Couple of quick things though before we start. I just because of work and different things, I didn't get notification of this until a couple of hours before it was going to start. But Daniel did a live Q&A this past Tuesday, this just a couple of days ago, with his sister Jenny on Facebook Live. And it was really cool. It was really, really awesome to be able to hear his voice. And well, I mean, we don't see him, of course, but we could hear him, and he was taking questions from the viewers on the live, and he, was answering the best he could. And it was kind of hard to hear him because we're listening to it from where he's speaking to his sister's phone, then being broadcast to Facebook. So it was kind of hard to hear him, but I'm pretty sure as time goes on, Jenny will figure out, get everything down just right, and they'll be able to, the ones that are coming will sound much better. But they decided that they are going to do a weekly live Facebook Live with Daniel, and he'll discuss the viewpoints about different topics, and he will be addressing misinformation. He will cover 2 topics each week, and the lives will be at 8 o'clock Central. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. At 8 o'clock Central on Tuesdays. So I will do my very best to get links for that, and so that you can plan on being there and listening and submitting questions you might have to him. He might be able to answer, he might not. Or your question might get asked because Jenny reads the questions and then says them to Daniel, and then he responds. So that is going to be a weekly thing, and I am so excited about it. I think it's going to be great. Um, So that will be, well, it started this week on Tuesday. And if I can, or when Cherie gets in, maybe she can actually put the link to that. It's just on Jenny Holtzclaw's page. So you could go if you can find it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to link that into the description, but we'll put it in the chat, and I'll add it to the description later. But try to plan on just checking that out every week, because I think it's going to be exciting, and I think it will be helpful, especially for those who are real familiar with the case, to be able to actually hear him speak for himself on certain things. So we're really excited about it. And like I said, start planning on, listen to the one that we had uh, um, Tuesday this week. And then, maybe try to plan, it's like an hour long is all that he can really do. And so plan to start being there on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Central. It'll be great. Catnip, thank you so much for posting that website. And if you could also post, Cat, the uh, different, some different podcast links as well for wherever, because I think you've posted Podbean before where you've heard it, and I know that it's on Apple. I've got the Apple one for just this episode in the description, but that would be really helpful. Thank you so much. So that's exciting. That's big news. We're pretty excited about it. And especially while we kind of have this lull that I've kind of talked about, where we're not really, it's not that we're not working, but there's nothing really moving right now in his case. The work's still being done. There's just nothing happening yet. So this will be really, really helpful in the interim to be able to hear Daniel's voice. And let's see. I think that was a main announcement that I wanted to make. At least as far as Daniel's concerned. I just want to say, I know that or a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, but I know that, I'm just seeing over the news that David Crosby died. So that's interesting. That's sad news. We've lost so many musicians and celebrities this year already. It's shocking. But David Crosby, if you're a fan, has passed away. So anyway, and so I don't have anything new on the Koberger case, but if anybody is following the case in Cohasset, Maine, or Cohasset, Maryland, I think it's Cohasset, Maryland, where the woman went missing New Year's Day. The wife went missing New Year's Day. And her husband's name is Brian Walsh. Her name's Anna Walsh. They had 3 little boys. She went missing New Year's Day. Reports are that they found a great deal of evidence in the home, not security, but video footage of him, shopping in, it didn't, Blair. You're not a mod. Let's see, how can you get that? You're not in Discord either. Which link was it, Blair, from the podcast or from the live on Tuesday? Yeah, if Cherie could maybe, Cherie, if you can check with Blair on Facebook somehow and get the link that she wanted to share and put that in, that would be great. Jack, he left, I guess. Jack had popped in, and we'll get it, Blair. Cherie's going to try to get in touch with you on Facebook or Messenger or something. Yeah, that's really sad, isn't it, Susan, about David Crosby? Hi, brother.
What up? What up? What up?
We're just sharing some information here real quick, and I just dropped the news that just as I was getting started here, something flashed across the news saying that David Crosby's dead. So just shocking how many musicians and celebrities we've lost in not even a whole month yet this year.
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
One after another.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know though, some of us are that age where our favorite icons and celebrities and musicians are older than us even. So it's probably like normal for them to start.
I don't know. I mean, I'm 30. I'm 39. So I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I remember 39 vaguely.
Exactly. So, Blair, Cherise, somehow, if you guys can get in touch, or Kay's driving, so she can't help either right now. But anyway, we'll get the link that you're trying to share, Blair. I just rhymed. And we'll make sure that it gets put in the chat. Or, I don't know, maybe I could I don't know if I can do that from here. I don't know. I've heard you can make somebody a mod, but I don't know if I can while you're on the live. But I don't know.
You can just right click in the chat, right click on the 3 dots.
In StreamYard
on YouTube.
Okay. At the bottom.
No, right in the live chat.
Sorry. Up here, I see. Okay. Whoops. Right click. Community moderator.
Or just click. I'm sorry, you don't have to right click. Just click on the 3 dots, and you'll have the option, because you're the channel owner. You can make them a moderator.
Next to her name.
Okay. Yep.
Well, I can't. Pin message. Add moderator. Okay,
There you go.
Blair. You're a mod now, Blair. Your color will
Yeah.
start turning blue, and you'll have a little blue wrench, and you can post links in the
It's not
chat.
a wrench. It's a winch.
A
Winch. You're a winch. Yeah, you're a winch now.
You're a winch holder.
Holder. Wait a minute. What's this new word here? Y'all just called me a winch.
A winch. My mom used to use that word.
That's an old timey word there.
You little wench.
Yep.
Well, never mind. I'm not gonna trash my mom right now. Anyway, so Blair, you can now post links. Oh, good. Hey, you know what? If you have links, you just go right on in and stick them in. And between you and Kat and Cherie, we'll be doing good. So anyway, Anna Walsh in Cohasset, Maine or Maryland. I don't know why I can't remember which one it was. And her husband, he was arrested, I think over a week ago, for obstructing justice and being dishonest with police during the investigation. So he's been in jail since then, and they just charged him, I think yesterday, with murder. So it was very, very chilling. I don't know if any of you are following that case or not, but I watched it live. I was sneaking watching it at work, and the prosecutor read off all of the things that they have found, all the websites that he's been searching on Google for different crazy, horrible things. It was very, very chilling to listen to all the things that they have that they plan to use, at least at this point. So now he's been fully charged with murder of his wife, and they still don't have a body, but they believe with everything that they read off yesterday and everything that they already have, they believe that they will be able to get a conviction. So that's great. I mean, again, here we go again with innocent until proven guilty. But, if it's true that he did murder his wife, and it sounds like if he did, it was done very horrifically and brutally. So then, we'll see what happens at trial. And another missing mom body was found, I think this morning. And it's just crazy how much horrific crime is taking place. And again, it might just be that, with what we do every day, as far as, true crime and wrongful convictions, maybe I'm just more aware than normal, but it's just been, it's been pretty crazy. And a 4-year-old little girl who was supposedly had gone missing, her little body was found as well yesterday. And so I haven't read anything about what they found or anything. I haven't had a chance to, but it's been pretty, that's the most heartbreaking for sure. So just dropping a little bit of bad news. Do what I can.
That's that case in Alabama, right?
I believe it was Alabama. Yes. 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 Blair. So Blair has been around on Daniel's case from the very beginning. And so any links that Blair drops and shares with you guys in the chat, they're going to be legit, and you can trust whatever she's going to put. Oh yes, it was Cyril, Oklahoma. Jack, it was in Cyril, Oklahoma. The little girl was killed, and Blair is saying that both of her caregivers are now in custody, and I did see that as well. So it's just a horrible start to this new year in the world of true crime, no doubt. So Dark Side has joined us. Hello, Dark Side. I hope you're doing well. And I feel like I saw somebody else. The husband of the little girl is charged with the little girl's murder. That's just,
I think that, yeah, I think that's right.
yeah. And yeah, that's just, well, we'll see what Oklahoma does with it. Hopefully they do the right thing in this case. I don't know, when it comes to little children, little angels, I like to think that every place takes it all very seriously and does the right thing.
I have zero patience with
Yeah.
that.
Little children,
Yeah.
God's little angels, and it's just horrific. Okay, so Sancho, what the heck? Welcome. It's so good to see you. It's been so long since I've seen you. And JD has just popped in. Sancho, I was just seeing something. I got a notification for a video from you the other day, and I think I was at work. I don't remember where I was, but I've been really busy lately, which is not normal for me. And I saw it come through, but I wasn't able to listen to it. But I did see a notification for you. JD, welcome. It's great to see you as well. Blair says the girl's aunt and her husband murdered her on Christmas. Good God. Jesus. Oh, yeah, I bet it. Are you in Oklahoma, Blair? I guess you must be. You must be. So, all right. Well, oh, thank you, Catnip. There's a link to Sancho. Sancho has worked with Kay and I on several, like 4 or 5 videos covering Daniel's case, and he does a great job. His most of his viewers are not um, they're not necessarily fans of Daniel's case for one reason or another. But I just handle them as respectfully as I can in the chat, and it usually ends up okay. They just like to try to bust my balls or bust our balls or bust somebody's balls, just to. I mean, some you can tell when somebody's really just trying to piss you off, and I think that's a lot of what some of the comments are in Sancho's. He does have a lovely voice, doesn't he, Dark Side? Sancho says they are a mixed batch of eggs. Yeah, they are. They are. Nobody's been disrespectful in your chat with me, but they've been very confrontational. Look at that, El Sancho. Darkside says you have a lovely voice. That's so nice. Okay. It's been 22 minutes and I haven't started my show tonight.
Podcast
Jack,
proper.
huh?
Podcast proper.
Podcast proper, yes. Gosh, he hasn't said that for a long time, has he? Oh, I miss that.
Yeah.
So
how familiar am I with
Shardayreon Hill's accusation?
Very little. I'm really not.
Okay. El Sancho says it's a touchy subject and we continue to encounter hate turned into educating. I love it. Yeah, that's what I've watched a video by some guy named Morbid Curiosity, and that's probably been over 2 weeks ago that I watched it. It's about the Daniel's interrogation, and the title of it definitely clickbait, but I am still responding honestly, truthfully, and as respectfully as I possibly can in those comments in his comment section. So Sancho, Sancho's done some really good ones. Mostly him and Kay have worked together and done some really good information on his channel. So Shardayreon Hill, you're not familiar with Shardayreon Hill. Well, she oh, are you talking about those douchebags, the 4 body language guys? Oh my God, Sancho, they pissed me off so bad. I begged all of my viewers and all of my friends here to watch that with me, and they all had to leave. They couldn't stand any more of the bullshit that they were saying. So they're all like, I can't, they're messaging me over in Discord. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard, but I just can't listen to these guys anymore. Yeah, they won't answer me either. I've reached out to them many times and they won't respond to me either. So screw them. Um, oh, the behavior panel, that's who those jerks are. Okay, so we're going to do a lot of, I as you guys know, I'm not really having a whole lot of time to prepare stuff and make videos and things like that like I've been able to before. So I worked until 3 o'clock, almost through, just well about 3 o'clock today, and so I hadn't even got my thumbnail ready for the podcast tonight or anything. So it's just been a rush, but I've known what I wanted to share and have you listen to. I just didn't get to make my own video clips of things like I would normally have done. So we're going to kind of listen to the podcast first, or parts of it. I'm going to stop and start, and we're going to discuss and take comments and questions from the chat. And Jack, if you have any questions, I think Cherie's trying to get on as quickly as she can as well. And we will.
Yeah, I'll definitely stop you if I can't pick up what you're laying down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll try to. Oh no, Susan. Oh, go. You need a new. Have you been looking at any new laptops, Susan? I sure hope so. I know they're expensive, but gosh, that's so frustrating. I know. So what we'll do is we're going to start out by listening to Brian Bates' podcast on this accuser and hear what it's over 2 hours, so I can't play all of it. I mean, I could, but I don't want to bore everybody with it, but I'll try to pick out some of the things that are more interesting or shocking or whatever you want to call it. And then again, like I said, the link for the podcast, the entire podcast, is in the description. Catnit is dropping it in the chat now. And so you can go back and listen to it, when you've got the time or folding laundry and need something to listen to. So here we go.
The following episode contains investigative events which occurred on September 19th, 2014.
Does the sound okay?
Welcome back to Bates Investigates, Season 1, In Defense of Daniel Holtzclaw. I am your host,
Yep, sounds good.
and original member of Daniel Holtzclaw's jury trial defense team, Brian Bates, and this is episode 24. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank you and apologize for the 9 months delay between the releases of episodes 23 and 24. While I can't get into all of the details right now, it's safe to say that my efforts to uncover the truth in the Daniel Holtzclaw criminal case has had a direct impact on the federal civil case filed by Holtzclaw's accusers, a case that is currently set for trial later this year in 2021. I left off last episode on the allegation.
And I'll just remind everybody again, just a week or 10 days before the trial was set to start, it was dropped, in the sense that Daniel is no longer involved in the civil suit itself. Even the plaintiffs are still trying to get money from Oklahoma City, but other than that, the civil suit is done as far as Daniel's concerned.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Allegations she made when she first met with detectives on September 16th, 2014, and only after they had received a telephone call from her probation officer. Just 3 days later, another call comes into the Oklahoma City Police Sex Crimes Unit. And it's from yet another female who claims she has too been sexually assaulted and raped by Officer Daniel Holtzclaw. According to the official report prepared by Detective Rocky Gregory, Quote, on September 19, 2014, a message was left by a 22-year-old black female by the name of Shardayreon Hill. Detective Gregory called Hill back around 9:30 that morning and asked her to come down to police headquarters so that she could be interviewed. Hill arrived around 1 p.m. The interview that Hill gives is at times, quite frankly, often completely unbelievable, while at the same time, some of the most head-scratching allegations are actually very true. What comes next is the never-before-published interview between Detective Rocky Gregory and Holtzclaw Accuser Shardayreon Hill. This is a very long interview. The video from that interview is just over 3 hours long. I have condensed the video's audio down to 2 hours by taking out pauses in the conversation and nearly an hour of time when Gregory and Hill leave the interview room to talk in a different room that was not being audio or video recorded. As with the other accuser interviews, I am publishing this interview so as to be completely transparent. That said, if you find you can't get all the way through this interview, I will be discussing all of the relevant facts in the next episode. So, take a bathroom break, grab a snack, do what you need to do, and then sit back and prepare yourself for 2 hours of some of the most bizarre allegations you've ever heard. Keeping in mind, some of it is absolutely true. I'll set the stage. Hill, a 22-year-old black female, reportedly stands about 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighs about 210 pounds, and is wearing camouflage stretch pants and a layered tank top. She walks in and sits down in the same room and the same chair that her alleged attacker, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw, sat in just a couple of months prior. Hill, sitting alone with her legs crossed, appears to be sending text messages while her left foot shakes nervously. Detective Rocky Gregory walks into the room.
This seems like very trashy in here.
Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do is actually let you see the video rather than just the podcast. So you have the visual, so you're not just sitting and looking at this blank screen, which is already hard enough to do. Because I think that's pretty much what Brian Bates does. I think I think he probably does break in from time to time, but that's okay. You can listen to the break-ins at some other point if you'd like.
This seems like very trashy in here. Okay. Am I saying you're not when I say Shardayreon?
It's pronounced. It's close enough. Shardayreon.
Okay.
It's pronounced Shardayreon.
What do you go by?
Darion. No matter.
Okay. Well, like I say, I know that we really didn't talk about anything. You called up to the sex crimes and just said that you wanted to come forward. And
I wanted to have you. Let's see if I can get this back just a few seconds. I want you to pay attention to the way that Rocky Gregory manipulates this very beginning part about how they came to this particular meeting. It's
Rocky would come on. Rocky would never do that shit. Come on,
shady motherfucker. I might have gone back too far, but it really is important for you to pay close attention to how he manipulates this.
Shardayreon.
Okay.
It's pronounced Shardayreon.
what do you go by?
Darion. It don't matter.
Okay. Well, like I say, I know that we really didn't talk about anything. You called up to the sex crimes and just said that you wanted to come forward in reference to that officer. I knew what you were talking about that. I know we didn't talk on the phone or anything about it. So we're just going to start from the very, very beginning. Okay.
How did you?
So he keeps emphasizing that I know we didn't talk on the phone at all about this. So, we didn't have a conversation prior to this meeting. He's making that very well understood. To me, it's as this goes on, maybe maybe it'll make more sense to you. But to me, it's him kind of like, we haven't talked on the phone before this, right? Wink, wink, kind of thing, because it'll come out here in just a second. So exactly what I'm trying to say.
Very beginning. Okay.
How was you looking for me?
Yeah. When I told you, I was
How are
looking
you
for you
looking
because
for me?
I have a list kind of going off of, and it was kind of odd because Jim usually said that, hey, we got to call the sex crimes main line. And that's when I returned the phone call. And we just have a list of people. A lot of them, nothing happened. Some of them, maybe. So just kind of one of those.
Yeah.
And I just recognized your name. It's kind of a unique name. And okay. Let's just get some of your information here. It's Shardayreon. Okay. Okay. And it's Hill. Is that still your last name? Okay. All right. And your date of birth is
91.
91. What's your social?
4.
Okay. What's your address?
Northeast 81st Street.
Okay. Northeast 81st. What's the zip code?
73114.
Okay. What's a phone number to reach you at?
Myself. I was high off the drug. It was peace.
Okay. Ever been to a mental hospital?
No.
Okay. What's your address?
Sorry, I didn't get
Northeast
this part like I
81st.
wanted to.
Okay. Northeast 81st. What's the zip code?
73114.
Okay. What's a phone number to reach you at?
My cell phone number is 405.
Okay.
And or you can call my mom's cell.
Okay. What's that?
405-24.
Okay. All right. You live with your mom or? Okay. Okay. Now these are just kind of common questions we kind of ask. Okay. You have any kind of mental problems?
No.
Okay. Ever been to a mental hospital?
No.
Okay. Are you on any drugs or alcohol right now?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been a victim of a crime prior to what we're going to talk about? Whatever you're going to tell me. Besides that, any other time?
I'm on the defer for
Well, have you ever been a victim of a crime?
Victim.
Anything like?
Not sexual.
Okay. So this is where we're going to talk about. That's the first time sexual. Okay. Okay. And I assume you said it was sexual in nature, but like I say, I didn't really question you about it. So, why don't you kind of run down through whatever you're going to tell me, okay? And then I'm going to back you up because I'm going to get caught up to you, okay? All right.
Well, when he came to where I was when he arrested me, I was high off the drug. It was PCP, and they had to take me to the hospital.
Okay, I'm going to try to get through this without having to listen to her ums and ahs and oohs and whatever. And what she's about to say is that she was in a parking lot. I feel like it was at the Cherie, was that at the or Blair or Kay? Well, Kay's driving. I think it was at the gosh, I can't think of the name of those apartments. It's been so long. Liberty Station. Was that in the parking lot at Liberty Station? Yeah, she said she wasn't under the influence at that particular time, Blair, while he's talking to her. But who knows? I don't know. That's judgmental. But was it at Liberty Station where this all took place initially, Cherie? Do you remember? At that particular time, Blair.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Whether
Who knows? Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since we've deep dived into all the different accusers, but I believe it was at an apartment complex.
I can't remember. No.
Okay. I believe it was at an apartment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She was. Kay said that's okay. So I did get that. I did get that. She was sitting in a truck that belonged to her cousin's friends. Blah blah blah. Whatever. That's all a whole big fat convoluted story. But in a truck at Liberty Station Apartments. Liberty Station Apartments has been known in Oklahoma City as one of those kind of complexes where there's a lot of drugs activities going on and stuff like that. So she was there, and the I don't recall the exact purpose for how it happened, but Daniel ended up pulling her over or not stopping. They were already stopped, but approaching the truck. And somebody jumped out of the truck, her friend or her cousin or something, or ran away from the truck, whatever it was, took off running. And inside the truck, I believe he could smell PCP. And this whole big thing happens, and she gets out of the truck, and they have a female officer there for backup. He calls for backup because it's getting kind of crazy. So they're trying to arrest her. Well, arrest her, but that she needs to, at this point, she's just high on PCP. But when they're trying to arrest her, they have some vials of PCP on the hood of the patrol car or the truck or something. And she leans over, her hands she's handcuffed behind her back, and she leans over and takes the vial of PCP, the glass vial of PCP in her mouth and crushes it in her mouth. And so now she's overdosed, basically. It's highly toxic and deadly and whatever. And so Daniel gets her in the back, or no, they call an ambulance, and the ambulance takes her to the hospital, to the emergency room. Daniel follows because it's initially his stop. So he follows along behind the ambulance, and and then the story kind of takes off from there. Kay says that, yeah, it belonged to a guy that she didn't know, air quotes, and or that she wouldn't identify. She said, let the people sit in. She said he let people sit in his truck to do drugs. And also, before she actually gets out of the truck, PCP is spilled on her, and it's, so she's got it all over her skin. It's absorbing through her skin, and now she's ingested it, full on straight PCP. She's ingested into her mouth. So it potentially deadly, for that to happen. So she has to be taken to the hospital. So that's kind of the story that she's going to tell, that is, believe it or not, probably much longer than the way I tried to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have just an open Facebook anyway? I got
out without handling the tickets, whatever. So he must have hid them or whatever he said he did with them, because I was able to find out. And he just walked out the thing after, he left me there. And so after that, like 2 weeks later, he found me on Facebook. He did it again, and I'm like, oh my God. So he got my hand and put it on his thing, on his belt or whatever, trying to like make me touch it or whatever.
I didn't think she called this.
And so
Is this?
it was on the northeast side, and I still didn't understand like why did they take me away to Southwest Medical and
Sexual in nature, but like I say, I didn't really
Sorry,
question
guys.
you about it. So, why don't you kind of run down through whatever you're going to tell me, okay? And then I'm going to back you up because I'm going to get caught up to you, okay? All right.
Well, when he came to where I was when he arrested me, I was high off the drug. It was PCP, and they had to take me to the hospital, which it was on the northeast side, and I still didn't understand like why did they take me away to Southwest Medical, and they takes me to Southwest Medical and showered me down because like it was all over me and stuff, and they gave me a drink to like bring me down or whatever. So when they finally put us in a room, like I guess for me to come down, it was me and him in the room, and when I think about it, like after the fact, didn't know nurses ever come in the room to check on us or anything. And so I'm laying on the bed, I'm high because the PCP is in my pores, and like it was poured all over me and everything. So, and like even the ambulance people that was like, they surprised that I'm like, still here because my heart rate was so high. Well, anyway, that was the drink. The drink was supposed to make me come down, but so I'm like out of it. So when they take all my clothes off, they gave me a gown, and so I'm in the bed, and it's like down, but I'm out of there, so I'm like not even worried about it, not thinking nothing of it. So he keeps bringing it to my attention, like, your titties is showing, and he kept saying it, but I'm still like not even catching on to what he's saying. So then finally he came on the side of the bed, and he got the robe and he pulled it up like this and was on my breast. And so I'm thinking like, okay, for real, is he going there? And so he got to talking to me and asking me like, trying to be all nice and stuff, like, why are you in that environment and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just telling them, like, I don't know, this just, whatever. So I'm like, I'm laying in the bed, and he's like, I'm like, am I going to jail? I'm like, I don't want to go to jail or whatever. And because I'm thinking I wasn't going to go to jail or whatever. So he like, is this your real name? Because I had told him I was my twin or whatever. And then
Who's your twin?
Shardayreon Hill. And he told me that
Her name is Shardayreon Hill, and her twin sister's name is Shardayreon Hill. So, and she often posed as her twin sister when she was in trouble. She has a pretty lengthy criminal history.
he told me that he told me I wasn't going first, and then he told me I was, and then he was like, but if you cooperate, that I wouldn't go to jail. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so then he came and he did it again, and I'm like, oh my God. So he got my hand and put it on his thing, on his belt or whatever, trying to like make me touch it or whatever. And so I'm just like, don't know what to do. Like, I'm like thinking if I do it, he will probably let me go. So he kind of was like forcing me, trying to talk me into doing it. And so he took off his belt and stuff, and he kept telling me to lay back though, because I'm not knowing at the time why he telling me to lay back, but when I, after everything, he was telling me to lay back because my heart rate would go up, and then that's when the people would come in the room. But he knew the whole time to make sure that I lay back so that my heart rate won't go up and these people come in the room. So anyway, he taken off his belt or whatever, and he pulled it down, and then he thought about it. I guess he made me put his mouth on him and everything.
So I got to go back just one little bit here because I wanted to point something out, but I missed it. So let me.
He like, is this your real name? Because I had told him I was my twin or whatever. And then
Who's your twin?
Shardayreon Hill. And he told me I wasn't born first, and then he told me I was, and then he was like, but if you cooperate, that I wouldn't go to jail. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so then he came and he did it again, and I'm like, oh my God. So he got my hand and put it on his thing, on his belt or whatever, trying to make me touch it or whatever. And so I'm just don't know what to do. I'm thinking if I do it, he will probably let me go. So he kind of was forcing me, trying to talk me into doing it. And so he took off his belt and stuff, and he kept telling me to lay back though, because I'm not knowing at the time why he telling me to lay back, but when I, after everything, he was telling me to lay back because my heart rate would go up, and then that's when the people would come in the room. But he knew the whole.
So that's what I wanted to point out. He tells her to lay back so that her heart rate doesn't go up, because if that happens, then the nurses and everybody are going to run in to check on her. So he tells her lay back, control, basically telling her you need to lay back and control your heart rate, which wasn't going to happen anyway because of the PCP. So that was not the first, but one of the things that she said that I just rolled my eyes at because that was just ridiculous.
Totally.
Time to make sure that I lay back so that my heart rate won't go up and these people come in the room. So anyway, he taken off his belt or whatever, and he pulled it down, and then he thought about it. I guess he made me put his mouth on him and everything. But he was like, he can't. He was like, yeah, I want to fuck the shit out of you or something like that. He said, but he was like, I'm on the job, I'm on the clock or whatever. So after I'm laying back, actually got my mouth on him and stuff, he pulled his pants back up and sit down. So he sit back down and he was writing whatever. He's sitting at the desk like this, and I'm on the bed, and I'm high, and the dress thing, my legs was up, and I see him, I'm peeping at him or whatever, and he just looking trying to look up in my thing, and so I'm like, can you please call my mama? Can you please call my mama? So he called my mama, and when he called my mama, she thinking that I got caught with a whole lot of drugs, and she yeah, why is you doing that?
He did get caught with a whole lot of drugs
in the hospital, and he got it on speakerphone, and she because by this time I'm thinking that he's my friend, so she Darren, you got in this trouble, you ain't about to have no bond. So he tell her she's gonna have a bond, it's just gonna be low, and then I'm gonna get out, Mama. She was like, how you gonna get outside? Because my friend, because he was telling me if I cooperate, just give it about a month, and then the charges won't be on me anymore. And so I'm I never trusted a cop. And he just trust me or whatever. So basically, I feel like he was just getting in my head and making me fall for what he was telling me and stuff. And so she how you gonna get out of there? I was like, cause my friend. He gonna let me out. She was like, who is your friend? And I was like, his name is Mr. Officer, like that. So she laughing at me because she know I'm high or whatever on the drug.
This is your mom talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I stayed in jail. Well, okay. After he in my bed and he stuck his hands in my private. And then he went to the sink and he just washed his hands or whatever. And then after that, we sat in there for a minute, and I guess it was time to go. And then he took me out, walked me out. I wanted to run out, but I wasn't gonna be able to make it.
So she says that because she's kind of hard to understand. So if you understood what she said, then I apologize that I'm going to repeat it. But she basically said that he put his hand in her vagina and then got up and washed his hands, and like it was just no big thing. So she's had his penis in her mouth, and he's never ejaculated. I mean, and if you listen to all the other accusers, not one of them will say that Daniel ever ejaculated. So he's having all of this bizarre, outrageous, weird sexual behaviors with all of these ladies and never ejaculating, which is possible. I mean, it could be somebody who can't. I don't know. It just, that's fine. But we know from what he kind of got coerced into saying in his interrogation that it's not a problem for him, and that's not an issue that he has had to deal with. And but I just think it's interesting that all these women have his penis in their mouths, and there's no DNA, at least with Janie Liggins, because they had her DNA the night that her alleged attack took place. But he never ejaculates, and so he just puts his hand in her vagina, and then just takes it out and goes and washes his hands. That sounds real logical to me.
From a dude's perspective, if it happened to, what do we have, 21, 22 accusers, something like that?
13.
Okay. 13, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, even 13. If you think about that number and you had one or two that, he didn't finish, okay. But 13 and never one time? Yeah, I'm going to tell you that's probably not likely. The rates, the chance of that is, to me, it's just not reasonable.
Not
what
reasonable,
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Especially for as young as he's a young man. He was in his prime.
Right. Just go and go and go like the Energizer Bunny.
Hurry up
Keep
and
going and
start again, kind of thing,
Right. Keep going and go. Yeah,
the Energizer Bunny, is that what they used to say? Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out because she is kind of hard to understand. And I have a thing with people who say the same line over, like, and I can't remember what she just said just now, but she repeated it. Come on, let's do it again. Come on, let's do it again, or whatever. That's not what she said, but something, to that effect. But so then I'm trying to imagine in any scenario in the world where whoever it is that's being talked about or stories being told about, that they said that same exact line twice. I'm probably not making sense, but at any rate, it really annoys me when she does that. She does it a lot. So anyway, so we'll go back. She's talking about that they get up and they're going to leave the hospital now.
Because I was so high or whatever. So he ended up taking me to the county. And so the whole time when we on our way to the county, he I'm like, so are you sure this is not going to stick? You're going to get it right way? He's telling me that just give it about a month. Just trust him and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so he took me in the county and was booking me in and whatever. And so while I'm sitting at the thing, he looking at me, and when the lady asked me, like, are you have you been sexually assaulted in the last 24 hours, he's standing there with like a photo or whatever, he looking at me or whatever.
I know that nobody in the chat, as far as I know, or on the panel, Jack or Cherie. I know I haven't, never been to jail, so I don't know this for a fact, but I cannot imagine that when you're in booking in jail, you're going to jail, you're in booking, that the question that they ask you is, have you been sexually assaulted in the last 24 hours? Maybe they do. I don't know. But that just seems so unrealistic to me. It just seems like a flat out lie that she would pinpoint within the last 24 hours. Now, Rocky, he said, have you ever been a victim of a crime? And, but he didn't say, he's a dick, and he didn't even say, have you been sexually assaulted in the last 24 hours? So I don't know. Just one of the things. I pick apart everything. Here we go.
And he looking back at the paper. And so when I say no, he close it up and he walk away from out the back or whatever. He come back around. And he set me down and was acting like he was asking me some questions. And he was like, I made your bond super fucking cheap, and I hid your tickets for you or whatever. And so this is what made me think like, okay, maybe he is gonna help me.
Cops can't hide your tickets. That doesn't happen. And she has been in enough legal trouble with law enforcement that she knows that doesn't happen as well. So for her to say that, well, I really thought that, he told me that he was going to hide my tickets and that I wasn't going to get in trouble. I just need to give it a month and then they'll just disappear. Bullshit. That's not true.
Or whatever. And so, because I had like $4,000 worth of tickets, or whatever, and he said he didn't charge me with them or something. And so, he was like, so you can get out early. So I ended up staying there for 5 days, but I got out without handling the tickets, whatever. So he must have hid them or whatever he said he did with them, because I was able to find out. And he just walked out the thing after, he left me there. And so after that, like 2 weeks later, he found me on Facebook, and then he requested to be my friend. I accepted or whatever, because I'm like, okay, he's serious about helping me get my charges dismissed or whatever.
Do you have that?
Yes. And I screenshotted the messages or whatever. And the number that he gave me on here is the number that he called. He called my mom's phone from.
He called who?
When I told you he called my mama in the hospital, it's the same number on here where he's telling me to call him on.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to take a pause right here. This is probably the most difficult of all of the accusers to try to, I can't think of the word, defend him to, because he did, in what he admits freely now, of course, he did get in touch with Shardayreon Hill and on Facebook, and I think through text messages as well. So this is what she's getting ready to show Rocky Gregory, is text messages or messages on Facebook from him. And they're legitimate. I mean, he did reach out to her on Facebook. And so, when I was new to the case and I was like, but why would he do? I mean, I still wasn't doubting him, but I just thought, of all the ridiculous things to do, why would he have done that? It didn't make sense to me that he would do that. And then as I talked to Kate, talked to us more and did a lot more explaining. And before I had done research and knew anything really, she was telling me about Daniel and the kind of person he is, the kind of man he is, and the kind of cop that he is or was. And he was genuinely, he was one of, Shardayreon Hill was one of the people that he had contact with that he felt like she could do so much better. She didn't have this long drawn out history of prostitution like some of the others, and that he in the where he worked over on the northeast side, that was all that he really, that was just part of his beat. That was the type of people that lived in, and that's what he worked with daily. So he felt like Shardayreon Hill, there was hope. There was not, I don't want to say hope, but that she could do better. She just had to put her mind to it, and she could, make a better life for herself. Just, make better choices and make a better life, and take care of herself and be more successful. And he believed that about her, and so he did reach out to her, and he never told her that he was going to hide tickets or take care of tickets or charges, because he can't do that. But he did want to check up on her and make sure that she was okay after she had been to the hospital, make sure she was feeling okay, and that she was staying away from those kinds of people, i.e. away from Liberty Apartments or Liberty Station Apartments. And he was just checking on her to make sure that she was safe. Daniel was living with his girlfriend and very much in love with her. He wasn't trying to get us, he wasn't trying to have a side piece. And so it was just genuine care about her well-being. In fact, Blair says he was worried about her safety. Exactly. And yeah, but he didn't say that he took care of her tickets. Never said that. So, because he can't, number one. Number two, he wouldn't have. And let's see, we've had Rosie has dropped in, and so has Shaz. Welcome, you guys. It's so good to have you here. So, she's making up lies. So she makes it like this whole Facebook thing was him trying to hit on her and, get her to have sex with him and everything else. At some point, excuse me, at some point, he does show up at her house to talk with her and make sure that she's doing okay. He had been texting her at some point, and she wasn't responding and wasn't, excuse me. And it turns out that she wasn't responding to any messages or text messages because she was had been arrested in, I think, in Texas or something. So he did try to see her and make sure that she was okay. And she makes a whole other claim off of that he tried to make her have sex with him in his car. Yeah, I really wish Kay was on here. It'd be so much easier to be here talking than to type it all out. But so Kay said she lied to him and told him she was in college and trying to get her life together. That's why. That's right. That's why I forget the important details. And he was encouraging her to make better decisions and sticking with college. Because and everything out of this woman's mouth that you hear on this video, oh, lucky you. She's in a busy, loud bar. I want to be there. But that's okay. I understand. But anyway, so, he genuinely wanted to help her be successful. And it turned out to be even worse than the worst mistake, even above pulling over Janie Liggins on June 18th. Just by virtue of the accusations that she ended up making against him. So, like I said, I'm not going to go and play all of this just because it is so long. But Rocky Gregory, he just feeds into this, and he's just, telling her all of the, well, did this and this and this, and show me this and show me this. And she was able to show him some messages and things like that. And some of those were used as exhibits in the trial. But I will say that he was found, and I can't remember if she had like 6 or 8 charges against him, and he was found not guilty on every one of her charges. Because when you listen to this whole thing without me stopping and pausing and interrupting and adding my 2 cents or trying to nutshell things, and you listen to her whole story, and you listen to the way Brian Bates has it all put together and all the other information that he has to add to it, it is the most bizarre accusation that there is. Because what I don't think you heard, and I think Blair mentioned it back up earlier in the chat, not only did he sexually assault her and sodomize her in the hospital room, in the hospital bed, according to her, she says that she says her left hand was handcuffed to the bed while he's doing all these things to her. And at no point in the hospital does does anybody come in to check on her. They're very busy at the hospital, at the emergency room, and unless there was some emergency notification from her machines or something, they didn't come in and do regular checks on her. And I can't remember right off the top of my head how long she was in there, but at any rate, she makes the most outlandish claims about that hospital visit, and then what happened after, when he went to visit with her at her house. So I'm not going to play any more of this, but I do want to play. I don't really know about the last 10 minutes. I don't really know where this is at this point, but and I want you to pay close attention to the very end, the very, very end of this.
They, these charges is going to be dismissed in a month, and just trust him and stuff. And he's talking to me all nice, making me think he's my friend, and that, I'm going to be okay. And so.
And that's the last time you saw him?
Yeah, that was the last time.
So you guys never touched on that time?
No.
Did you ask to see his penis?
No, I'm not even. I wasn't interested in nothing sexual, because I really have to be sexually attracted to you to want to even do anything sexually with you.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't even care.
You're just playing along because of the charges?
Yes.
That was just a big old TMI moment for me.
But like I was just trying to make excuses. Like when he was saying call me, I was just saying my phone is dead, I'm gonna call you in a minute. But I never called him after that. Like I probably.
Oh, you told him I'd call you?
Huh?
You told him?
No, I didn't tell him I call him. I'm just saying right here where he said, hey, call me, and gave me the number. I said my phone is charging, call you in a minute. But no, I went to see. I don't know what I was saying out there, but
So after that, when's the last time you talked to him? Just on this Facebook thing?
probably.
Did you ever talk to him on the phone again?
I think I was texting him one time, and he was telling me to come to his house, and I was like, no. I was telling him I don't want to come.
You texted him?
There was no way Daniel was telling her or anybody else to go to his house. No way. There's no way that he was going to do that. No way. Sorry. Come to my house, please.
He texted me
Okay, so he had
One of them, yeah, he had my phone number.
So you guys texted each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have that phone.
No, it's probably one of them numbers.
Okay, so what lines of communication? You talked on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It was more texts than anything, no.
But you did talk, so
Mm-hmm.
you texted.
Like he would text like, "What you doing?"
And you had that 580 number?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Facebook, anything else?
No.
Can you pause that for a second?
He arrested me, and then one time when he came to my house.
Yes.
I mean, if they got these alleged texts between her and Daniel, where the fuck's this at?
You mean the text messages?
Yeah.
I don't remember if they showed text messages. I know that there were some, I think they did have some Facebook messages that were very, very generalized, very broad and generalized. And so, yeah, that's a good point.
Not sexual in nature, right?
No, they weren't. It was just, hey, I'm just checking on you, making sure you're okay. Are you staying out of trouble? Are you being good? Those kinds of things. Because he's still trying to encourage her to do better, for herself. And
Right.
Like Kay said, she had told him that lie that she was in college trying to get her life back together. So Kay makes a good point. If her hand was cuffed to the bed, I guess he wouldn't need to tell her to lay back. Probably not. And I can, I've been in the emergency room probably a good half a dozen times in my life for different things. And I've had to put on the little gown, or I've been in a hospital with the little gown on, and I've always had a sheet up over me. If not a blanket, I've always had a sheet up over. That's not to say that, she was warm or uncomfortable with the sheet or whatever, but she's just so gross and such a liar. Let's see. Kay says, there are text messages, but nothing sexual in nature at all. The jury saw them and acquitted on all charges. Yeah. There was nothing about any message that they could see in exhibits that was damaging at all. The only thing that was damaging was that he had contact with her at all after the fact, which we will let's see. We will find out here in just a we'll find out here in just a quick couple of minutes how this ends up. Because if you haven't already heard this, it might blow your mind.
It's the only times that I actually.
Okay. So when he left, did you ever talk on the phone again?
What?
How many times you talk on the phone?
It wasn't that many. I just thought that there was more texts than anything.
But like talk 1, 2, 3?
No more than probably 3 times.
Did you ever talk on the phone after he came to your house?
He was texting me after that. Like I never contacted him. He always contacted me.
He always contacted you.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever talk? Is there any documentation from any of this that he was talking sexually to you?
No, and he knew probably not to do that.
He made a point not to do that, she says.
Okay.
Talk sexually, because on her, I'm trying to get him to say, like, I asked him, like, what do you mean? I said, help, how? I don't get it, because he's been telling me this whole time. I'm trying to get him to tell me, what do you mean? You're gonna
That's on Facebook.
Yeah.
But you don't have any text with him now?
No. He said, last thing he said, you went back and let me know about it. Maybe I can help or explain what's going on. They gave me his number again. So I'm like, help, how? I don't get it.
Right. When's the last time you talked to him? You went to Houston, got out July 3rd.
Yeah, so
You went to prison, right?
okay. Well, if you can see, like, on these, most of the times that he was writing me, because by this point when I'm saying help how, that's the only time I really just text back. Like, this gap right here.
Since you got out of prison, have you talked to him?
No.
You talked to him in prison?
No.
You talked to him in jail?
No. The last time probably was when I said that, actually. When I said, my phone is charging, call you in a minute.
And what day was that?
No, not that one. This one right here. Help how, I don't get it.
What day was that?
That was March. Okay, that was March 4th, 2014 at 5:34.
Okay.
Because this little gap right here, like that time and this time, and see, he kept texting me and stuff, trying to get me to call him and stuff, but he just.
Okay.
And so
And
then finally when he said he was gonna help, yeah, I was like, help me how, I don't get it, because by this time I'm mad. I'm like, you've been telling me this whole time that you're gonna help me and it's gonna be off, but you ain't.
Hey, you want a break or anything? We're really about ready to wrap it up. You use the restroom, Rita?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I need to use the restroom. Okay. And then
Can I walk out there where my cousin is to make sure she's all right?
if she's all right, sure, I guess.
She might want another cigarette or something.
Do you go outside or?
No, just out to the where you picking me up from?
Well, you can't walk around. That's the only thing.
I'll just wait.
First of all, if you've seen Daniel's interrogation video, this room should look familiar to you, with the exception of the placement of that chair right there that she's been sitting in. Just
I was
frame of
thinking that
reference.
too.
They what?
They made him squeeze in there, but they didn't make her squeeze in
Yeah.
there in that corner.
Yeah, she's just, all sorts of comfortable, and
Yep.
they've got Daniel, big, bulked out Daniel, sitting in that little corner, all squeezed in like he's a tiny little wimp. Yeah. Okay, so this, let's see. Here's what I think. Rocky Gregory says, hey, do you need a break or anything? No, I'm fine. I'm good. Okay. Cause I need to go to the bathroom. Well, they don't, whatever, need to go to the bathroom. He's not going to the bathroom. He's going out, I think, saying, boy, I don't know. This story sounds a little, unrealistic. And it sounds like she might be lying. The text, the way she's trying to show me the messages, she's just, she's holding her phone and scrolling back and forth. I can't really see any dates or really any messages that sound sexual in nature. I don't know. I feel like Rocky is like kind of waffling on her at this point, because I think even he realizes how absolutely ridiculous her story sounds. I'm speculating 100%. But he's going to go out and powwow and, see if he can, because that's what he does. Him and Kim, they like to go out and powwow together. See if, what do you think? What else should I ask her? Or what else should we do? I think that's what it was doing, because I can't think of a time. I've watched interrogation videos before, and I've watched videos that have gone on for 3 and 4 hours. And no detective ever got up and said, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I think he's going out trying to find out what else he should do or what else he should ask. Just my opinion. Okay, so she comes back in. And she's just sitting there waiting for Rocky, looking at her phone, which she does most of this interview. If you watch this thing from start to finish, she makes very little eye contact with him, and she spends a great deal of time looking at her phone, and not just for the messages and stuff either. Okay, we'll finish it up.
Charges. And he takes the back of your head. The ambulance takes you. All right. Onto the computer.
$53 and 33 seconds. She's gone. Doing what, I wonder?
Okay. I think I've got it. And I just kind of want to, I'm going to run through it. What I usually do is I just kind of run through it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I've got it. Okay. Stop at Liberty Station. You're using PCP with your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Did your cousin, your cousin didn't see anything, really? Inappropriate? No. Anything inappropriate there?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing inappropriate at the
on the scene.
At the scene. Okay. That's okay. And basically, we kind of go through everything there. You're chewing on the vial.
Mm-hmm.
You're spitting it out. They have you lay on the ground. They tell you to get rid of it, but you're not. And so they call the ambulance. The ambulance takes you. You get washed. He watches that. You're naked. You eventually, after going through the ER, go to a totally different room, and you're in there alone. He comes up to you, and I've got which side of the bed, so I'm just running through this. He comes up to you, and he keeps talking about your breasts are out or your titties are out, one of the two. And at some point, he comes up, grabs one side, lifts up, squeezes. He comes again, squeezes again after he's kind of hitting up about working with him. Mm-hmm. Then he comes up again. I know there's back and forth with bathroom. Mm-hmm. Squeeze a third time, but then this time he is having your hand come up. You touch, takes off the gum belt, take off your hand, and then he's talking about just do it, just do it, just do it. Mm-hmm. And all clear through there, he's talking about the charges. And he takes the back of your head, about 5 or 6 up and downs, about a minute. He says, ha ha, it's about a white dick. I've got it written down.
It's the first time you ever sucked a white dick.
Okay. And then you stop, and then he buttons up everything, puts you on the phone with your mom at one point. Mm-hmm. After that, he comes right back around and he slips up 2 fingers up inside your vagina. And then he takes you to jail. Mm-hmm. He's standing over you when they ask you the question about have you ever been sexually assaulted. Mm-hmm. He walks away. A couple of weeks goes by. Facebooks you, starts talking. Of course, you go to jail about a month later. Then you're out from bond. Talking to him again. I'm sorry. Before you even go to jail, he comes over. Right. He whips out his penis. He tries to get you to go down on him, go drive around the corner, have sex with him. Mm-hmm. You're like, no. He briefly talks about the charges. Mm-hmm. And you don't do anything, no touching. And then the bond, jail, out, still some contact. Mm-hmm. And then Houston, then he tries to get a hold of you unless you know got a warrant, but you're in Houston. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we've got the Facebook messages, everything like that. Right. Anything you tell me today has been any lies, anything like that? No. Okay. Well, you've been pretty honest about stuff. Mm-hmm. So, you got any questions of me?
I don't know. Is that like, was the other girl's situation, was they like mine?
If you haven't listened to anything else this whole hour and a half, listen to this last minute and a half.
Well, I can't necessarily go into that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you ever talked to anybody about their situations?
No, I don't know nobody else that he done that to or nothing that.
Okay.
So this is good evidence?
Well, you tell me.
I think so, because I mean, y'all, even if he didn't even rape nobody or nothing, he's been in contact with people that he arrested.
foot. Was it ever a nurse who came in?
Disgusting.
Is
Absolutely disgusting.
Is this good evidence? Well, I don't know. You tell me. Well, I think so, because even if he didn't like rape nobody, he's still getting in contact with people he's arrested. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this accuser, then I mean, if
That says it all.
it
Every bit of it.
says everything, it is
Everything.
so
You get all these lies I just told you? Isn't this some good stuff here?
Mm-hmm.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Where's my check?
Yep.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
That's
Kay, I was just
bullshit.
going to ask, but Kay said she believes that alone caused the acquittal. I can't remember. I know that they had to take a recess during the trial because they hadn't heard this yet, if I'm not mistaken. And
Well, yeah, they had to get some jurors' eyes back in their head from all the damn eye rolling.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if the jury got to hear that part of the interview or not. I couldn't remember. But yeah, but Kay says that alone she believes that alone was what caused the acquittal. They did play that part at trial. So, and man, talk about getting caught on a hot mic. Oh, so, okay. She said that's right. Bates pointed it out. So, yeah. So you definitely get a lot more information, because during this interview, Bates is, I'm pretty sure, cutting in and cutting in and adding commentary along the way. And I'm telling you, whatever you hear Brian Bates saying in his episodes, you can take it to the bank. And because he's not lying or embellishing or inventing any single thing about any one of these accusers at all. I guarantee that. And so it's just astounding. She did go on to join in on the civil case. She did a deposition, and it was maddening reading her deposition, because they keep asking her, the attorney's asking her, have you ever lied? Have you ever told a lie? Have you ever been dishonest? Have you ever, trying to get all these questions about. And she is saying that nope, I don't lie. I'm a good person. I've never lied. I don't lie. And even when, if you ask me, Rhonda, have you ever lied? Fuck yeah, I've lied. Of course I have. Jack has, Cherie has, Kay has, but we all have told lies in our lifetime.
Yeah, but it was only about bad people. They were really bad.
That are really bad. It was always for a good reason.
That's right. They were bad people, so we had to. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So during the trial, and I so wanted to cut out, show you these parts of the transcript, the trial transcript, and I might just do a premiere to kind of, I don't know, I'll see if I can figure it out. I haven't done one before. I'll see if I can do a premiere and show some differences between that interview, her police report, the typed out police report, and the trial transcript and her deposition. Every bit of it contradicts each other. But what the most astounding part is that during the trial, when Scott Adams, Daniel's defense counsel, is asking her questions about how honest she is, and did you lie about this? Have you ever lied about this? Not one time does she ever admit to ever lying at any time in her life. Nope. I've always told the truth. I always tell the truth. I don't lie. It's gross. It's actually really gross that she will not even admit to telling a lie, not about this even, but at any time in her life, she will not admit to ever lying. And then when you're reading the trial or the deposition transcript, it's nothing but I don't remember that, I don't remember, I don't recall, I can't remember. Her entire deposition practically is filled with a loss of memory, which is just so frustrating. And so I'll see if I can work on it. Won't be anytime soon, but I will try to work on putting it together, a montage or something of her inconsistencies. Now, all of them have inconsistencies. Don't get me wrong. All of the accusers do. And we've been able to pick them out and document those, but this one is just outrageous. And so I really would like you guys to kind of see her lies right on paper, because you can't make that up. So anyway, it's one of the most astounding stories, and it's that last 30 seconds tells her entire story, and it's disgusting. And but like we said, he was found he was acquitted on every single one of her charges. Let me show you, because I don't want to, because I hate showing any of these photos, but I'm gonna do this. I can't even stand these photos, but it's really weird to me how, let's see, how let's see if this will work. I don't know if this works or not, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, we need to take some Pepto and Zofran and stuff like that, for GERD. Maybe a couple Xanax.
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
Yeah, I should warn that, huh? I should make that like a warning. Okay,
Well,
it's kind of hard to see because this is just on Google Images. But if you look over here to the right, in the top right-hand corner, right under where it says "Truth Wins," that is Janie Liggins down here on our left. In the middle, right there, is Benjamin Crump, and then right next to him, in his left hand, he's holding up Shardayreon Hill's left hand. Like, we want, and this is after the verdict. This is after he's been, the verdict
acquitted of her charges.
Yeah, and so he's acquitted of all of her charges. And but Benjamin, see, by this point though, Benjamin Crump has had a conversation with, at least with Janie Liggins and Shardayreon Hill, I don't know who else, and talked about, let's get a civil case filed. But it's just gross to me. It's so disgusting how she's just, so proud. And here's another one. Let's see. I don't know how well you can see that one, but she's walking along there. She just looks happy as a little pig in shit. She's just lost her case, but she's for whatever reason, she's happy as can be. So anyway.
Well, she's getting paid. She's getting paid attention to.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. I've missed a lot of comments here, and I don't like to miss very many comments. And I think some people have dropped in too that I missed. Liam is, I just adore Liam, and I miss you, Liam, and I'm so glad that you come to listen to my podcast and learn more about this case. He said, yeah, she looked so interested. Yeah, she was on her phone the whole time, or picking at her nails or whatever. She made very little eye contact with with Rocky Gregory. And does she want a cookie? Yeah, Cherie, oopsie, you were supposed to cut that out. See, and I don't think that got turned over. I mean, I don't think that got turned over until during the trial, if I'm not mistaken, that end of that video. Because I know that they had to take a break so that so that everybody could watch it. Can you imagine had that not been shown at the trial or brought up? That would have been a major, major, major Brady violation that could have got the whole case tossed, which would have been fabulous. But Leon, I'm lying right now. Yeah. Let's see. Shaz said, how could she ever have been allowed as part of the civil suit? She was caught on camera lying. Well, yeah, I don't, when you've got a high powered civil rights attorney like Benjamin Crump representing you, you know, that's, you can pretty much do whatever you want, I guess. Hey, Jaznaz, it is a foul play team here. We are a foul play team on Just Rhonda's channel. Let's see. I want to get some more comments. Oops, I know I passed them all up again. I see some stuff in here by Kay, and I definitely want to get those because I'm sure there's some corrections. Shaz says that alone is a red flag. Like you said, Rhonda, everyone has told a lie at some time in their life. She's a piece of work. Did she come forward on her own? I missed the start. Well, that's debatable because when she comes in at the very beginning of the interview that you watch, Rocky Gregory is trying to, now we've never talked on the phone. She calls in to the sex crimes unit and it's not, well, she'd seen it on the news by this time. I think she came in like the 16th or something of September, and he had already been outed on the news in August. He'd been charged, and so his face and name were all over the news at this point. So she had seen him on the news, and she remembered, oh, that's the same one that arrested me because I was so fucked up on PCP in December last year. I'm going to make a claim of my own. That's what my own thought. I think that's how I think that went. But I think that because, so Rocky's, making this big deal when he starts the interview about not having, now we haven't talked on the phone about this or anything. This is the first time we're talking about it. And she doesn't really answer that, but then she says, now, why were you looking for me? And then he's like, well, see, I had this list and your name was on it. And so we were going to try and get a hold of you and see if, and then you called and you're just like, my ass, come on. You're such a liar. He's so gross. So 6 of one, half dozen the other, Shaz. Kay says we need to look at the transcript and see how all that went down. Maybe Giger stopped it before the end that Adams called him out. Yeah, we do need to look at the transcript because I feel like they didn't see that part, but I'm probably wrong, but we'll have to look at it. Reminds me of the twins in the Vincent Simmons case, both liars. Oh, Jazz, I don't know if, I think I know what case you're talking. Is that a pretty old case that you're talking about, Jazz Naz? I can't really remember. But even if it's not the same case, I remember a case that involved twins where they were both lying and but it's an old case, years and years. I don't recall. I think they tried to say she came forth on her own, but if I remember right, Rocky had reached out. Is that right, Kay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's what happened because Cherie, Kay, help, please. Help, please, Kay. I know, huh? Lots of times I'm left here just kind of dangling in the breeze thinking, okay, well, somebody's going to correct me if I'm not right. I know that feeling. But yeah, so she, I think it's even more about that, more than that though, Shaz, than wanting her 15 minutes of fame. I, I mean, or maybe it is the same thing, but she certainly wanted to get on that money train for sure. And that's just how all of these women were turned, I think, or if that's the right word.
Rhonda and Cherie and everyone out there, to me, it's at this point, because I don't think they'll ever get a penny out of Oklahoma city or county, whatever. It's a little surprising to me at this point that these women haven't got together, hired themselves a really good civil lawyer, banded together, and said, look, these people basically told us to lie so we could get this guy and get some money.
And we didn't get no money.
We
I just wonder if something like that could happen. Because right now, okay, so Oklahoma City was granted, everybody in the case, in the civil case was granted summary judgment, except for Daniel, of course. So that includes Oklahoma City. They were in fact, I think they were the first ones granted summary judgment, possibly, doesn't matter. But that let them off the hook as far as, having to be sued in the civil suit. And then at some point after they were granted summary judgment, the judge in the case encouraged the city to go ahead. I know you're not part of the case anymore, but I recommend or suggest to you that maybe you settle with the plaintiffs anyway, which was just outrageous to me. I mean, we were all going like, are you kidding? And so the city did offer a settlement to the plaintiffs. I don't know what the amount was. I don't believe that was ever disclosed, but they did offer a settlement, and the plaintiffs rejected it. So at, sometime in October, when the defense is showing all of this evidence of inconsistencies and, lies and reverse engineering of the accusers and everything, all these things are going to come out in the civil trial in Daniel's favor. And I think that the attorneys are like, okay, we know we can't get anything from Daniel. Everybody else has been dropped from the civil suit. We've been working on this case for you ladies for over 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was at that point. We need to get our money somehow. These are all high-powered. Well, most of them were covered by, or were represented by Benjamin Crump and another attorney in his law firm. I can't remember his name off the top. And then a couple of them were represented by different attorneys. But nonetheless, it's my opinion that they were all probably being represented on contingency, because those ladies didn't have a penny. None of them had money to hire Benjamin Crump, right? And or any other attorney for that matter. So it's my belief that they were working on contingency for the accusers and thinking that they were going to get this big payout from at the very least, the city of Oklahoma. Because they knew that there was no way they were going to be able to get any damages from Daniel. So they were banking on getting these big payouts from Oklahoma City. And when they finally, we gets down the pike and we're a week out or 10 days out from the civil trial, they're like, nope, okay, this is ridiculous. We can see where this is going. And by now they've seen the evidence that, or the exhibits that Daniel's team is planning to use. And I think they just thought, we're screwed now. Our only chance is to see if we can get the judge to reverse summary judgment on the city or get the city to make another settlement offer. And so otherwise there's really, I don't know if and when that's going to be decided. I can't wait to find out. But I hope the judge doesn't reverse the summary judgment. Because if he does, then they're going to end up winning money. I don't think it's going to be very much, though. I don't think it's going to be very much, because if they win some money, if each of these accusers do win money from the city, they're going to pay a big chunk of that change to all of those attorneys. So, and I just don't think they realize that. I really don't. I don't think that I don't want to say that they're not smart enough, but I don't think and even if they walked away with $10,000 or $20,000, I'm sure to them that is like a lifetime of, money, possibly. I could go through $10,000 or $20,000 in a couple of years, easy, if I'm living on it, especially if I'm living on it. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And I think they all were, Liam. They were all looking for paydays. All of them were. So, so she saw a chance to make some big bucks. Yeah. Now,
there's no doubt they're looking for a payday. And even at this point, I don't know about her experiences, but some of these women could probably author a book and make something.
sure.
May certainly not be millionaires, but with their experiences with Blinker and Bullwinkle, as affectionately call them, I can't resist.
I know.
I just think that Oklahoma City will go down to their death before they hand these women a penny.
Not unless they're forced to. Not unless they're forced to. If the judge reverses summary judgment and grants them damages, then they're not going to have a choice. But they certainly are not going to offer a settlement bigger than what it was that they offered before, and they said no, that's not enough. So I think as far as a settlement offer, I don't think the city. I can't imagine. Excuse me. I can't imagine the city offering another settlement, but I could be wrong. Especially if they think it's going to, protect the verdict.
Exactly, damage the case. I don't know. I'm certainly not as big a deep dive as you ladies have taken, but just from what I know, I just don't think they'll ever do it.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. She thought she was the perfect victim since he sent her text messages. Yeah. Very, very virginal text messages. But I just made that up. I don't know if that's a real thing, but did you mention that Daniel left the room to help another officer take someone into custody and she never knew he was gone? I did not mention that, and I didn't play it in the I didn't play that part of the interview either. I don't know if it was in the police interview. I don't remember if it was in the police interview, but she did. Daniel had to leave the room from where she was to go help another officer chase down somebody that had run from him. And she was in the room. I don't know for how long. I don't think it was very long, but she didn't even know he was gone. That's how out of it she was, that she didn't, for however long he was gone, she didn't even know it. So yeah, she's just God. And I don't know, it was just really, really a disgusting story to tell. Yeah, like many people off their head, where they spin a 2-second interaction out of out of 10 minutes. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see, Shaz. Wow, didn't know that case. She is totally outrageous. Actually, they all are, and I'm sorry. I know the cops used them, but I have no sympathy for any of them after what they did to Daniel. No, I don't. I mean, the only one I have any sorrow for, I guess you could say, is Terry Morris, and she's never been mentally capable of understanding what they did to her. Um, I think she still believes, because of what Rocky Gregory has done to her, I think she still believes it was Daniel. I believe Terry Morris was assaulted by a cop on the day that she said it was, before they switched her and brainwashed her that it was actually May 8th instead of May 20th or 21st, like she claimed. Even in her deposition, she says it was May 20th or 21st, but that she knows that it was Daniel. So she's just very mentally ill, and her brain has just been fried with drugs. And I feel sorrow for her. Kay, the attorneys didn't expect Daniel they were forced to play along. The attorneys didn't expect Daniel to deny. They were forced to play along. They waited until the last minute when they saw what he was bringing as far as evidence before they dropped him. Yeah, that's what I thought too. You talking about the civil suit? Yeah, I mean, because I know for a fact how many exhibits of proof of innocence there were going to be submitted. So, let's see. They want to go forward after the city was out, when he said he was in it until the end. Hello, R. William. Thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. You are awesome. Kay says, shoot, I'm having a hard time doing this on my phone. It's okay. I understand. You could either be on your phone or on your computer. This key, the O and the G get stuck on. So it's all the same. It's all good. You're helping though, and I appreciate that very much. So Liam says it wouldn't be a good book. It would definitely be a fiction fairy tale for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Kay, I'm not sure they even offered a settlement at the conference. I think they were too far apart. Crump would have wanted millions. Yeah, there's no way the city was going to offer the millions that Crump would demand, for sure. I thought that a settlement was offered, but that the plaintiffs rejected the settlement. I'm probably wrong. I might have made that up in my mind. I might have dreamed it or something. I don't know. Let's see. If they went along with the cops knowing it was wrong and the city pays them nothing, it just proves don't bloody lie for cops. Yeah. Yeah. And they already don't trust cops as it is. and then if they that's funny. I don't think you meant it to be funny, but it's funny to me. Shaz. Kay says, I have a hard time deciding who I might have something for, since I don't know the level of coercion. Sorrow? I think that might be what she's saying. I have a hard time deciding who I might have sorrow for since I don't know the level of coercion. I don't know. Well, I mean, like somebody like Tabitha Barnes. Come on. She was crazy. The only one I have any sadness for is Terry Morris, I guess, is the one that was really raped by the black cop, but it wasn't Daniel. Sherry Ellis, she's the only other one that I think might have been assaulted as well. And I believe she was assaulted on, I don't think it was necessarily on that night, but maybe it was. Because Daniel did have contact with her, but I'm stuck on a different cop who was later terminated and took a plea deal to avoid going to prison for however many years they were going to send him to prison for. But so, hello, William. We are happy to have you here. Did you want to say hello to William, Jack, and Cherie?
What up, R. William? How's it going?
Sympathy, having sympathy. Okay, yeah.
Hi,
That's the
William.
That's the word. That's the word. And that's the word I was trying to use was sympathy, and I kept saying sorrow, but yes, sympathy. Shaz, it's so frustrating. He's still sitting in jail with so much evidence. He's innocent. I know. Well, if we can get a evidentiary hearing or a new trial, then that we'll be able to show that. We don't know if that cop raped anybody. I know, that's why I know, and that's why I didn't say a name. But we do know that he was in trouble for having sex with prostitutes and blowing a sting operation by the federal government. So we do know that much. So, but that's why I didn't say his name. Because we don't know. That's just my thought. Just because he matches Sherry Ellis's description so much better than Daniel, that's the reason I have to at least say that without mentioning the name. I think you said that ages ago, Rhonda. They dismissed the city offer of money. I remember you were surprised. I think, and like I said, I did say that. I know I've said it, but I will have to double check and make sure that that I didn't get the facts wrong on that. And if I find out different, I will certainly let you know. Case, hi people. Is this new drama or old drama? I don't know much about it, but here to learn from the pros. Aw, thank you.
Case,
it's not
case 10. Case 10 reporting from a soybean field. Probably driven his combine. Probably past you over in California by now. Towards Neverly.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm kidding, Case 10. I'm kidding.
Well, this case isn't new to me or to most of us here. Certainly none of us on the panel and most of us in chat. I think it could be new to you, but it's about Daniel Holtzclaw, a wrongful conviction. And wow, it's probably the most convoluted, twisted case. It involves accusations by 13 women in Oklahoma City accusing a law enforcement officer of sexually assaulting and sodomizing and raping them. And so he's been in prison since 2015 or 16. And so we're just working to says the detectives contacted her. From Shardayreon Hill. Okay. So yeah, it's very, very twisted. It's not a murder case or anything like in Wisconsin, but it's nonetheless it's a horrific case. Daniel was sentenced to 263 years for 18 counts of these different sexual batteries on 13 different women. So, let's see. Cherie shared something. Let me open it up and see what it is. See if I can just share it with you. It's a case that will drive you crazy case because it's so. Oh yes, he was sentenced in January of 2016. Thank you, Kay. Convicted on his birthday, no less, on December 10th of 2015. That's where I was getting the 15 from. So let's see. What is this from, Cherie? Is this from a police report?
Deposition.
Let's see. Let me open that up all the way. So this, Cherie found a clip for me from the deposition from Shardayreon Hill. The question. So that's what I'm trying to get to. You 20 tell your mom.
The numbers are, ignore the numbers.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So it says deposition. This is a question from the attorney. So that's what I'm trying to get to. You tell your mom, and she answers, uh-huh. And then question, you don't tell anybody else until when he is 23, the next. And then she says, they were trying to find me, the detectives. What are the numbers doing there, Cherie? I'm very curious. So
I don't know. I can't answer that.
So she's saying in this part of the deposition that, yeah, they're asking her, and she says, well, they were trying to find me. The detectives were trying to find me. The attorney says, okay. And she says, and we got in contact. And the attorney says, okay. And she says, and that's when I told my story. And then the attorney says, okay, have you been sexually assaulted in your lifetime? She says, no. And then the question is, were you sexually assaulted by Daniel Holtzclaw? And that's the only part of the clip because it was what was relevant. So yes, they were. She says that they were trying to look for her, which, that's what we just kind of think anyway. So, or that's what I thought anyway. Catnet is dropping really excellent links for you guys, like Case 10. If you haven't, oh God, here she's coming. She's like, all right, I got enough of you guys.
That's because Catnet.
Straight.
That's because Catnet is awesome.
Yeah.
Those dark side,
yes.
They're just awesome ladies.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, Kay said to hell with it. I've had enough. I'm coming.
Hey
Done
guys.
with you.
Hey, Kay.
What up?
Oh, I had to
What
get
up?
my sound check. Man, that's stressful doing this inside a bar with all sound check going on. I don't have
I'm
any
sure that
headphones,
you're just there drinking coffee, right?
Right. I had a Guinness while I was trying to type on this little phone.
Well, you gotta, you gotta get your taste buds all cleared out. So don't blame you.
Yeah, man. Carry on.
Oh no, you're here. You carry right on.
I don't even know what you guys were talking about.
Well, Cherie had just sent me a clip of the deposition transcript of Shardayreon Hills where she states that yes, the detectives were looking for her.
Oh yeah, of course they were. Rocky shut her down so fast when she started trying to talk about that because he really, like you said, he tried to establish at the beginning of that interview. Now we haven't talked or anything, and then 3 or 4 minutes into it, she starts to ask something about them trying to get a hold of her or whatever she was going to say. And he just changes the subject. Yeah, she did not. He shut her down. He's really good at that. He did that to several of these accusers.
Yeah, he did that. And he did it all the time with Terry Morris. I mean, he interviewed Terry Morris at least 3 times that we know of. But
Well, the worst time that he did it with her was in the jail.
yeah. Oh,
Of
that was
course,
horrible.
she's so scatterbrained that it was easy for her to get off track. She was going to ask something and then, or how'd you know I was here?
Yeah.
And then, oh, that's my birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday's next week. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She just,
He was glad she was scatterbrains.
yeah. And it you know, that between the drugs and her mental illnesses, he knew he could manipulate her into getting her to say what he needed her to say. And it's horrible.
If she could realize how she ended up, that's another time in the jail when he shut her down. She's trying to explain that she doesn't really understand why she got arrested, because her friend Matthew had been owing her some money.
Yeah.
And he said, her friend Matthew said, you know, if she wanted to get her money, she had to go into the VA center. So whoever this Matthew is Matthew Cal, I've always wondered if Matthew was the confidential informant. I mean, that's a stretch, but
well,
or if the confidential informant, I don't know, anyone could have worked with Matthew to talk her into going in there. And then shebang, she got arrested.
Yeah. On a trespassing charge. She spent 5 days in jail.
And there's no record of a trespassing charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she got arrested on trespassing, and spent 5 days in jail, but there's no trespassing. No police report, nothing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole different accuser.
That's a whole different accuser. Yeah. But yeah, it's oh man.
Back to the I've been dying to talk and I can't really type when I'm thinking so fast. Back to the whole, how did that recording come about? We're going to have to go back and look at the trial transcript to see, because I really wonder what Bates says, I think, is when that came up in trial, we couldn't play it, or they didn't play it, and we had to shut the trial down and go into the judge's chambers and listen to it. I'm wondering if Giger just played part of it and then shut it off before that, but you'd think they would have just edited it and hid that part.
Yeah.
They would have never brought that.
We do need to go back to that, because I know that there's something about there is quite a bit of there's a hefty conversation about it somewhere. So, no, she's not his attorney anymore. Case 10, KZ isn't. She had to drop Daniel's case because of her commitments to other cases that she was working on. And I'll let you just use your imagination there, because we don't really know.
Well, I think she anticipated that the Avery case was going to settle was going to come to an end. I don't think she realized that was going to be forever ongoing.
Yeah.
And frankly, I mean, apparently she had bitten off more than she could chew, and having this in Oklahoma. But, you know, she and Doug Johnson did quite a few of the depositions. Yeah. And she did an excellent job on Elaine Taylor's deposition.
Yes.
I think she blew Elaine Taylor, who was the Oklahoma City crime lab analyst. I think she just blew her away with how much she knew about DNA.
Yeah.
Seemed like she kind of knew more than
Elaine
Taylor.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, that was amazing listening to her. I mean, because she just, those of us who've, been dealing with KZ from, years ago, with Stephen's case, we know she's sharp. We know just from Ma'am, we know how, she knows a lot about DNA, and all that stuff. She knows a lot about DNA, much more than I think most other attorneys do. And so, having her doing her deposing Elaine Taylor, the crime lab analyst in this case, was epic, because Elaine Taylor, and there's a video of hers, and you can just see Elaine Taylor's face like, oh my God, and her mouth falls open, and you're like, close your mouth, dear, you're gonna get flies in there, because she's just like, this is not some stupid dumbass attorney that doesn't know what they're talking about. She's got me. And
yeah, but she just gets indignant, and she's just like, I'm not going to admit to anything. If that's different, I'm sticking, whatever I said at trial, that's what I said, and that's what I'm sticking to. I'm not changing anything. Not changing anything. So even if you were wrong, you wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
That's what the appeals process is for, or some crap like that.
Yeah. How much arrogance can one person have? Oh my gosh.
She's just playing, she's just doing what she was told. I mean,
yeah,
they've all been told, don't change, don't veer from your trial testimony.
Yeah.
That's how we protect the conviction.
Yeah.
You can't be giving them things to appeal.
Use on the appeal. Yep. But there's still been lots of exhibits made to show that innocence. So,
and she was trained by Joyce Gilchrist, Black Magic. So she's well practiced at.
Yeah. So for those of you who are really new to my channel, there are videos way back from, I think, the first year I was doing this, that I did on Joyce Gilchrist, and I felt like it was necessary, because Elaine Taylor, who was the crime lab analyst in Daniel's case, who's also the mother-in-law to Rocky Gregory, but don't worry, there's no conflict of interest there or anything. She was trained and supervised by Joyce Gilchrist way back in the 90s, and it's like she carried on. I don't know to what degree. I mean, because I don't know about other cases that Elaine Taylor has testified for, but she was definitely trained by the best, worst crime lab analyst out there. I guess
she did testify against Gilchrist in her predetermination hearing.
Oh,
that got her fired. But
yeah, that's true.
I think, probably really just to save her ass. I mean, it was clear she was going down because,
right.
Well, I mean, people who she sent to prison died.
Yeah.
Because of her lies.
Were executed because of her lies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, she was an evil woman, and the crime world did not lose much when she died, because she was just and so arrogant, and she was, well, if you think about it, Elaine Taylor was just like Joyce Gilchrist, because Joyce Gilchrist would die on the hill of, I didn't falsify anything. Everything right. I did and submitted and tested was true and correct. So,
that's not the only case that we see in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma County, where, people are trained by, new guys come in, they're trained by these veterans that have all these corrupt practices, and they're trained in those ways, and then they train people in those ways, and on and on and on.
Yeah. It's just like a sick cycle that they get stuck in. And, it seems like, well, Joyce Gilchrist was this amazing crime lab analyst, and yeah, she was, fudging this and fudging that, and, but it must be okay because she was, certain people went to prison who should have went to prison, and I'm sure people did go to prison that should have gone to prison. But the bad thing is that there were too many that I can't even right now think off that. I mean, in the video that we did about Joyce Gilchrist, it explains it, but there were too many that went to prison and went to death row who didn't commit the crime because of what Joyce Gilchrist did. And so, Elaine Taylor in her mind as well, that's what Joyce Gilchrist trained me to do or to say or to, blah, blah, blah. And so she did. And she's, conveniently retired now from Oklahoma City. And, but, that doesn't make her not guilty of doing, things that she's done. Because I believe that I feel very much like Campbell Ruddock is probably a good, reading his deposition and watching his deposition and, his testimony, he seems like a honest, ethical crime lab analyst.
Right, with a gag order.
With a gag order. It's just, I wasn't going to say gag order, but I was going to say, but they shut him down and wouldn't let him talk.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he was under a gag order.
Yeah.
I can't believe the city attorney let him answer that last question that really basically showed that the secret hearings were about Elaine Taylor's God, how do you even explain it? Like her inept practices, testifying outside the bounds of her of what thank you. I mean, it's good that we know that, since those transcripts are still sealed, which is bullshit.
And unless Daniel gets a new trial or an evidentiary hearing, I don't know if we'll ever get to unseal.
How the hell can that be? Because, heavily redacted, they let his direct appeal public defender read those in their office. He had to stand there and read them. He had to come back multiple days. But he didn't have a copy of them, and Daniel's new counsel is not allowed to access them. How is that fair?
How is it legal?
I mean, it's not legal. I mean, not letting Daniel or his attorney be at the hearings that have his case number on the paperwork. And then when he files a motion, that, hey, this is wrong, the judges say, although you should have been able to be there, the panel of judges determined that no harm was done to you by not being there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. According to the people who want to screw you and protect this conviction, they get to vote if anything was of evidentiary value to you or not, which now we know, yes, there was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they just decide. It just seems to me like, and I don't know where Daniel's case stands as far as Henderson goes, but it just seems to me, since he is no longer the judge, it seems to me like they ought to be able to unseal that. Okay,
here's what's happening tomorrow in Oklahoma City. So one of the cases that got turned over, got a new trial because Judge Henderson was sleeping with the prosecutor, Kelly Collins. So Aaron Brock got a new trial. So the pretrial conference is in the morning, and they have a bunch of issues pending, one of which is Brock's attorney wants them to turn over the hidden documents from Henderson's sex scandal. So that's going to be interesting in the morning at 9:00.
Oh, okay. Are you going to that?
Yeah, I'll be there.
That's what I thought. I forgot that. I can't believe it's already the 19th of January is what my problem is.
Okay, I
Gosh.
gotta go back in and run sound.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Start
Thank you so much for helping out, Kay.
Okay, hey guys, thanks for joining. Talk to you
Yeah.
later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Sorry, I guess I can just ask her. I was just messaged. Well, I didn't message her, but I put in the chat if Kat's still here, if she could get a link for the video that we did on Joyce Gilchrist. And then we did one about Elaine Taylor as well. But then also we did a video about the secret hearings that we were just talking about. So, it's that way because they're far back. And I don't know how. I need somebody to help me. And it might have to be Jack. But I need someone to help me make playlists of my videos because I don't know how to do that. And right now, if you go in and look at them, they're just all kind of scattered somehow. And so I don't know if there's a way to organize them so that they all.
There is.
Okay.
There is. It's not. It's not hard. You talking about on YouTube? It's not hard.
So that I have like playlists of, for instance, I did 3 videos on Terry Morris. I'd like them in a playlist. 3 videos on Sherry Ellis. I'd like those, and you know what I mean?
Absolutely, it's easy to do. Once you do one or two, you'll have it, and there are other things you can do to even find it better. But it's easy.
Okay, good. We need to do that whenever we can both get some time together and work on it. Because I've been the video that I've talked about a few times before lately. Oh, you're okay, Blair. Did you miss Kay? She came on with us for a minute. She helped. So yeah, there are lots of woes. There's a lot of woes. Yeah. There's so much. Okay. So let me just make sure that Case understands. So the judge that presided over Daniel's case was having an affair with one of the prosecutors on some other cases, not on Daniel's case. The one who prosecuted Daniel was I use the word man very loosely. He was a male. So it wasn't that he was having an affair with the prosecutor while he was presiding on Daniel's case. Doesn't matter whose case it was. He was having an affair with a female prosecutor of cases that he was presiding over. And so, yeah, Aaron Brock is getting a new trial. And another one, Hashagen. I don't know. Cherie left. Where'd Cherie go? Okay. Oh, you started working on playlists? Catnip? Because you can do that. You can you have the password and everything. You're supposed to be my helper in my YouTube because I don't know how to do it. Anyway, yeah, disgraced former judge. Sorry, how could I do that? How could I say Judge Henderson? Yeah, we started calling him disgraced former judge. And so, yeah, there's also several videos about Judge Henderson that I've done after he was found out to be committing serious sexual assaults, according to the charges. So anyway, I just got way distracted from what I was talking about. I don't even remember anymore, but there's just so much. There's so much. And the reason that Daniel's case is so as difficult as it is because in one trial, they had 13 plaintiffs. And in one trial, and it was just like, how can you do that? I mean, who wants to have 13 separate trials? I get it. But geez, it was just, there's just no possible way that you can have a trial with that many plaintiffs other than a class action suit. And this wasn't big enough for, a class action. Did the prosecutor get in trouble? She was fired, I believe, after it all came out. I believe she was fired. And there you go. There's the one from former Judge Timothy Henderson. Thank you, Catnet. So Catnet just linked the video that goes into a little more detail about the secret hearings where Daniel nor his attorney were not only not allowed to participate in, but they weren't even notified of it until after it occurred, after it happened. So you know what? You are exactly 100% right, Liam. It's a good way to confuse a jury. And there is no way that jury was not confused. There's no way, especially when they started talking about the DNA. And one of the jury members after the trial even said, that what did he say? The DNA people or whatever he was that he said made some kind of snide comment. And he said, but, we didn't, once we found out that there was DNA evidence against him, we voted guilty, something to that effect. The thing is that the prosecutor lied about the DNA evidence, just flat out bald-faced lied to the jury and got away with it. Yes, absolutely, Shaz, you're right. Blinkwinkle said that it was better to have 13 accusers than one. We can't get anything done with one accuser, but when you have 13, Kay is really good. Kay has all of these quotes down pat, and sometimes she even tries to sound like Kim Davis. So, yeah, you did fall out, Urkel, you did fall out. I'm just kidding. Hello. How are you doing, Magic? It's so great to see you. Oh, no problem. Of course. Listen in. We're just about actually to wrap up, but you can start it over when we get done. So yeah, Cherie, where the heck did you go? Get your butt back in here. So I'm going to start. I really encourage all of you to go and listen to the episode on Brian Bates's podcast of Shardayreon Hill. And if you can stomach it, watch the entire video. There's really not much to the entire video except for her. It's very boring. I'll just say that.
Well, just her lying, right?
Just her lying is all, and Rocky feeding it. Rocky,
Well, yeah,
the lies.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But definitely listen to Brian Bates' podcast of this episode. And all of them, actually. If you're new to this case, that is my recommendation, is to start with episode 1 of Brian Bates' podcast. He has so much legitimate legal information and facts that cannot be denied, that, whatever I've confused you about completely doing my videos, he will, and I use a lot of his recordings and stuff too. I used to do very detailed videos with lots of videos that I would create and clips and subtitles and pictures and, all kinds of fun stuff. But I don't have the time to do that anymore. So I'm kind of just winging it at this point. But definitely start with Brian Bates if you don't know anything about this case. And it'll blow your mind.
Brian does a fantastic job. Just fantastic.
Or possibly even better, you can love her, you can hate her, you can be disgusted by her. I don't care about your opinion about her. But Michelle Malkin did an excellent, it's about an hour and a half long, I think, little video or breakdown of the entire case, start to finish.
Daniel in the Den.
Yeah, she really, really did a great job. And she also had an interview. She interviewed Rocky Gregory and Kim Davis. It's close to 2-hour video that she did. That's an interview, and of Rocky Gregory and Kim Davis. And I'm telling you what, it'll make it, if you're the kind of people I think you are, which I'm sure you are, it'll make you sick watching the interview that Michelle Malkin did with the detectives.
Interestingly enough, a little side story. That's what I sent you and got you involved in this case.
Yes,
remember?
Exactly. Yep. I was talking to Jack several years ago, and we were talking about wrongful conviction cases and how, I can't believe how many there are besides Brendan and Stephen, because I really thought that Brendan and Stephen's case was really a rarity in the world of crime. I just thought, how can that happen? How can people be wrongfully convicted like that and sent to prison for the rest of their lives? And so we were talking about it, Jack and I, and he asked me if I'd ever heard about it. And I said, no, I've seen the video, the thumbnail of it in my feed before, but I've never, and I was always curious, but it was a cop being accused of sexually assaulting women. And I just was like, no, I don't think I can handle it. And he said, no, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. And I watched it, and I was flabbergasted, just shocked at what I had seen of of Michelle Malkin's Daniel in the Den. That's what it's called. It was slipping my mind. So there's really a lot, for you guys to, he did open a can of worms. He did open a can of worms. Now look what you did, Jack. But it's good. It's good because it needed to be talked about more. This case needs, and it still needs, if we had half of the attention on Daniel's case that we have on Stephen and Brendan, we'd be a lot better off than, where we're at now with the case. But I think we're getting there. I think post-conviction is going to, I don't know. I think maybe I'm just wishful thinking or delusional. I don't know, but I feel like we're headed for a good spot. So anyway, but, yeah, I mean, I could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about Daniel in one sitting, but, about his case for sure. But I'm not going to do that to you guys. I just want to remind you to check. Did we get the Facebook link in for the Tuesday night Facebook Lives? Well, I think what we need to do, Cherie or Kat, if one of you, or Blair, you can do it now too if you're still here. Post the link for the Facebook Lives. But just a reminder, every Tuesday night now at 8:00 Central, Jenny is going to host a Facebook Live Q&A with Daniel, and they're going to cover two specific topics during those Facebook Lives. And so join that, and then you will be able to submit your questions in the comment section, and if she can, she'll get to as many questions as she can. Hey, T1, welcome. It's good to see you here. T1 has a question. Has there been any mention of Daniel Holtzclaw as far as comparisons to the recent London law enforcement confession of being a serial rapist? I don't know anything about that. Well, I don't know anything about that, T1. Jack, do you know what he's talking about?
I do not. I'm just trying to think. I don't.
Yeah, you're going to have to. I don't know what you're talking about. There's Jenny Holtzclaw's Facebook page. Everybody go and join, like her page or join her page or whatever Facebook does. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, T1. I'm going to have to. So it's let me put that up there again. So, comparison to the recent London law enforcement officer confession of being a serial rapist. Ugh, I don't know. Well, no, I'm just going to say no because I haven't even heard about that. So, you'll have to give us some more information about it. Because now I'm curious because I don't have anything else to do. I need to look at that. Let's see here. He says David Carrick is the London officer's name. Okay, well, Cherie, Kat, Jack, Darkside, everybody get on it.
Off to the races. Here we go.
Yep. R. Williams says a cop in London has been found to raping and torturing 12 women in a 15-year spell. Wow, never heard of that. I'm going to look at Kat, and it's already on the ball. Admits to being a serial rapist. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out when we're done. Let me actually go to here.
You know, I'm smelling another Netflix documentary coming.
I know.
Right?
You know, they were. It's funny you say that because they were talking about in the live the other night with Daniel on the Facebook Live. A lot of the people in the comments were like, "We need," and I think Jenny was commenting on some of those comments about, needing to get Netflix involved. Need to get Netflix or, somebody to do a documentary on this, beyond
Absolutely. That's what this case needs. It needs a documentary to get in the public eye.
I emailed both Laura and Moira and twice, but I never did hear back from them. And I'm not going to say that I gave up, but I certainly did, get busy and forget to follow through on it.
Well, they've got, well, I don't know what they're doing. Certainly with the Colburn v. Netflix, case, they've been extremely busy. Well, you read through it. You've seen the documentation.
Yeah.
Because you read through most of it with us. So.
Liam says many police here have been placed on offenders lists over the years. This guy is particularly extreme example. Yeah, I'm going to be checking it out when we're done. Case says, cue the danger music.
See, Case 10's been paying attention. He's been paying attention to the Colburn lawsuit, the danger music. That's right.
Exactly. Robert Gray, I am not sure if I don't know if I've had you in my chat before. If I have, please forgive me for not remembering, but I want to read your comment. Regarding the two cops that betrayed poor Daniel, I believe they need to be put in jail just for their manipulation of the so-called witnesses. Their questions were all leading. It was disgraceful. You are not going to get any argument from any of us here.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting what they did, the actions they took. And I'm going to say this of course, is an allegation, it's speculation, but I think they were totally directed to do that by their superiors, and then they were willing to do so. And instead of just saying, you know what, you wait just a damn minute. What are we doing here?
Yeah. To my knowledge, T1, I haven't heard about any comparison to Daniel from any other case at all. So I'll have to look at that and look into it a little bit and see what I can figure out. But as I've never heard that attached to Daniel's name at all recently. So I don't know. Yeah, their techniques were definitely dodgy. They were disgusting and unethical. So yeah, I completely agree. Robert, do I recognize your name from the Facebook group or from other comments and other videos? Your name is so familiar to me, but I can't place where I've seen you before. But thank you for that comment. That was That was a great comment and very true. 100% accurate for sure. Yeah, if I hear anything like that though, T1, I'll be bringing it up. I'll be finding a way to defend that for sure, or defend Daniel to something like that. I'm all over the morbid curiosity video. Like I said earlier, it came out about 3 weeks ago, and I check on it every single day. Well, I always look at my notifications to see, because somebody, at least 1 or 2 people a day, are responding to me based on comments that I've been putting in the comment section of that video. And I was just saying last night, I think I was just mentioning last night, that I've also just been dropping my YouTube link in there at the end of a comment that I might make, not to the idiots, because they're not going to pay attention anyway, but to those who are curious or asking a question, like, I don't understand why, or, I feel like he's innocent, but this, and so I'm just like, I'll respond to that comment, and then I'll put my YouTube link in it. And what I really should have been doing and haven't is putting Brian Bates' podcast link in it as well. Because the people that are commenting on this YouTube video by this morbid curiosity dude, the title of it is, "This interrogation, this cop got 263 years because of this interrogation," or something like that. And all he's done is shown the 2-hour interrogation of that that they did on Daniel, Gregory, and Davis, and people are just, oh, yep, he's guilty. Yeah, he's guilty. You can tell by the way, and every time he says whatnot, he's telling a lie, and he looks so uncomfortable. And how could he try to sexually assault his girlfriend at night when she's at home asleep? And I'm just like, oh my God. So I'm just really overwhelmed with some of these asinine comments that but the people who are, you can just tell by the way a comment reads if they're like just being assholes, or if they, if they knew there was another thing to look at, or another side of a story, that they might be open-minded enough to go, oh, okay, well, yeah, let me look at this then. But I'm just so angered by this whole thing of, basing his guilt or innocence on that one video, on that one interrogation. It's gross. Robert Gray says, "I'm from Australia. We connected briefly a couple of weeks ago back regarding Daniel H. And then I was led to your channel. By the way, I'm loving your channel." Thank you so much. Robert, were you one of the commenters on the Morbid Curiosity video? That might be where we connected from. We have lots of friends in our groups from this group here in the chat section, and in Foul Play from Australia. Lots of friends. So, oh my gosh, these people that these people who are like so bent out of shape that it is really annoying when you're listening to that video. That interrogation, he says whatnot a lot. I say whatnot, not as much as Daniel did, but I would imagine I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it. I think it was nerves that was.
I think it's just I think it's just a mannerism. I don't think right.
Yeah, it's just and people just are like, yep, every time he says whatnot, he's lying. Oh, okay. Every time you open your mouth, I know you're lying then. I don't know. Gosh. Yes, welcome and thank you, Robert. We really appreciate you. Let's see. T1 says, "Not me. I'm pretty obvious when being an asshole." Well, we know exactly what you're thinking most of the time when you make a comment, T1.
Well, T talks a lot. It's a good thing he's not on there, or we wouldn't get anything. You should go ahead and drop a link and get him in here. Of course, we can probably just eat dinner while he's talking.
I know. We could just mute ourselves and let him do all the talking, huh? T1 knows he is always invited on my panel. Anytime he wants to come on the panel, he knows he's invited. Liam says an open source list is published regularly by the UK police about officers prosecuted for any crime. It is pawed and slathered over by the idiots who, on one hand, say the police always get away with, and then I'm sure the police always get away with it, and also want to show how many corrupt police there are. Yeah, it's I don't know. And there's always, it's like they're contradicting themselves in many ways. So let's see. Oh, you know what, don't even start with me. That is not how it gets said. You're exaggerating now. T1, come on, there's an L in there that does not belong. There's something doesn't look right. Oh, go. I panic now. That's just like a panic word for me. Gosh. That word should be redacted from anything that I ever read. Well, Robert Gray, I am so glad that you have found your way to the channel and that you love the channel. That's even better. And I hope that you're sharing it with others and trying to get more people to subscribe. I would love that as well. And, share this side, the truthful side of Daniel's case, because he really needs it. He really, really needs the support and the not recognition, but what's the word I'm trying to say? It needs to be brought out into the open more. And so if there's anything that, if you anybody has any ideas or any other ways that you can think that we can continue to bring more awareness to Daniel's case, please let me know. Leave, questions in the comment, or, leave suggestions and questions in the comments or over in my Discord. And I need to update all the accuser rooms over in my Discord because I don't have that finished either. But we just need more recognition. And I realize that, I feel like I've gotten a lot better at doing YouTube. I know that I have a lot more that I can learn to do better, but considering where I started to where I am now, but for some reason, it's not necessarily gaining traction the way I had hoped it would be by now. And so, just help to, share my channel and, talk about Daniel mostly, but share the channel. And, I as time goes on, I'm going to redo some of, these accusers in a much better. And, here's another thing. I have a lot more information and knowledge now than I did when I first started. So as time goes on, I'll be able to go back over the different accusers and add things, or, that I can prove shows innocence and things like that. And so, it'll just get better as time goes on. And right now, my goal is just to get through all of the accusers. Now, after Shardayreon Hill, the one that we just did tonight, Brian Bates has not done any more because when he was talking in the very beginning, when we were listening to the very beginning of the podcast, and he said, due to the effect it was having on the federal lawsuit, he had stopped. He will, at some point after this entire civil suit is completely finished, he will pick up at where he left off with the next accusers. We still haven't even gotten to Adara Gardner yet. And hers is the one whose DNA, and I'm using my air quotes, was found on the uniform pants. So, T1, he needs his accusers to speak out on the truth and whatnot. Yes, he does, damn it.
He's just a rascal, ain't he? He's just being a rascal.
He's just like a little brother that likes to pick on me or something. Yeah, we still have several of that we're going to have to do all on our own because there's no podcast for me to steal from. We have Regina Copeland. Hers is pretty. It's a little wild. It's a little wild for sure. And Sarita Bowen, and then Adara Gardner's is going to be a tough one. Adara Gardner's is the 17 year. She was 17 at the time. Hers is going to be tough. It's going to. I'll probably need to do at least 2 or 3 episodes for Adara. Robert says, I love that you're in his corner. I feel so sorry for him. Lucky he is so strong and seems to be coping, but he needs to be set free ASAP. There's not enough focus on his case. So glad that you're here. Oh, thank you, Robert. We're so glad that you're here. And really do appreciate your support as well. And Robert, if you didn't hear earlier, and I think there's a link in here a couple of times, Daniel will be doing live Facebook Q&As with his sister every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central. So if you would like to, if for no other reason, just to actually be able to hear him speak, but you can ask questions in the comment section. And, if they have time, they'll ask different questions from, we did do Kayla Lyles. Yeah. Yeah, we did do Kayla Lyles. So you might be interested in checking them out from time to time. Liam Daniel was never married. He and his girlfriend were living together, and they were talking about marriage. But sometime after he was convicted, they, he, naturally he told her to move on. 1 second. Sorry, that my granddaughter needed something. So anyway, but they broke up. I mean, after he was convicted, he knew he's going to prison for effectively 3 lifetimes, and so he doesn't expect her to hang around. Yes, Adara is a little she was a little spitfire, and reading through her transcript in the trial was so difficult because she was so confrontational and snarky and snotty and she was just a little brat. And she was hard. She was hard to read, and she's better during her deposition, and she's a little more mature, but she's got a lot of mental health problems and drug abuse problems. But how they twisted the DNA found on his uniform pants that matched her profile, how they twisted that is the real story with Adara Gardner. So we will do her last, and it will be several episodes, I'm sure, that we'll have to do. T1, are any of the Facebook lives being recorded or shared? They're recorded. Like the first one that she just did this past Tuesday is on her Facebook page. So you can go to Jenny's Facebook page and watch it again. I don't shared. I don't know how that's done, other than I shared the link on Twitter that night. I'm hoping that people, if I mean, if people who are following me on Twitter saw it, they should have been able to connect to it. But yeah, you should just be able to find them every Tuesday night on Jenny Holtzclaw's Facebook page. So yeah, Daniel's just so frustrated because, you know, he knows that he's got hundreds of supporters and all of us out here doing everything that we can to help him, but he's not getting to be heard, like literally heard. And, you know, he gets lots of letters. He loves letters. He's not saying don't write to him, because he wants anybody and everyone who will write to him to please do that. And he tries to answer everybody. And he appreciates all the support and all of the help and all of the, you know, fundraising and everything else, but he wants to be heard. And so this is just, you know, his way of, I think, being able to have his voice literally heard by as many people who can listen. And he has Daniel will answer any question you ask him, no matter how personal it is, how uncomfortable you think it might make him. He will answer absolutely anything that is asked. And honestly, I've never gotten a letter from Daniel that I thought was like, you know, embellished or exaggerated, or, you know, never. He's very honest and open, and he wants to talk about it. He wants to talk about it with us, with you guys, all of his supporters. So absolutely write to him. His address has been updated, and so I changed his address. It's pinned in my Discord. It's pinned in the front of the house, I think is what it's called. I can't remember. I don't spend very much time in my Discord because nobody ever goes there to do anything. And so it's not at all like foul play. You know, but I would like to spend more. All questions. Does he know the gray agenda? I don't know what you mean, Liam. Jack, do you know?
I do not.
I don't know what that means, Liam. I'm sorry. The gray agenda. I don't know. Area 51?
Oh, conspiracy.
Oh, I don't know. I've never asked him. Shaz says, every time I go there, there's nobody is there. Time differences. Yeah, my Discord for Daniel is nothing at all like foul play. You know, people don't go out and don't go there and hang out. And I've just really had a hard time getting that up off the ground as well. And
I guarantee you, if Daniel's case had a Making a Murderer kind of documentary thing, you know, a 2-part 20 episodes, it would explode.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, T1, hopefully you can catch, you know, even if you're only just going to listen and not, you know, you're not able to, you know, comment or anything. Hopefully you can get a chance to listen in every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central. Go to Jenny Holtzclaw's Facebook page and you will be able to find it. Yeah, it's really kind of cool to be able to hear him. Robert says, I only had to watch his very first interrogation to know he was innocent. So it confounds me how those that don't get involved and help him. It's crazy. We agree. We completely agree. And if you haven't yet, Robert, watched the Daniel in the Den by Michelle Malkin, your mind will be blown even more. So aliens, yes. I don't know. T1 question, has the politics around Daniel's case changed at all? Well, no, not really. I mean, of course, Black Lives Matter is still, well, they're all hibernating right now. And especially since the civil suit has been dropped, they're all of the political stuff is hibernating. But once post conviction starts being talked about, and we can start getting some dates for hearings and things, I'm pretty sure all the political stuff is going to heat up again. Now, one good thing about, and somebody's asked something about the attorney general. I say we, I don't live in Oklahoma, but I always say we, but Oklahoma got a new attorney general because the one that they had was a dick. And not to mention the governor, how he got reelected is beyond me. But what's even more important is that the prosecutor who prosecuted Daniel's case, Galen Giger, he was running for DA because, thank God, David Prater resigned. And I have a theory about that. But anyway, David Prater resigned. Galen Giger was running for DA, and we were all freaking out because Galen Giger as the district attorney was going to be bad. But he lost in a runoff. He lost that election by a landslide to, and her name just left my mind. Help me out, Cherie. God, I can't think of her name right now. Dang it. But anyway, she won the election. She's now the new district attorney in Oklahoma County. And her son, one of her sons, was wrongfully convicted. So we're just kind of letting her get settled into the position. And then as a team, we're going to start working on ways that we can approach her and start asking her and the new attorney general, for some help. So politically, nothing's being said right now, really, but we're working on shaking the basket for sure. So, oh yeah, we saw that one. Politics. Let's see. Liam says that's the thing. It does seem that he got swept up in a political move to look like something was being done. You hit the nail on the head, Liam. That's exactly what happened. Janie Liggins, a Black woman, accused him of sexually assaulting her. There was no evidence whatsoever to back up her claim, not to mention the inconsistencies in her story. And she went public like 4 days later. She kept saying, when are you going to arrest him? When are you going to arrest him? When are you going to arrest him? Well, they couldn't arrest him because they didn't have any proof that he had assaulted her. At that point, the only thing they had was that 2-hour interrogation. And there's no proof in that he sexually assaulted Janie Liggins. So 4 days after the alleged assault took place, 3 or 4 days, maybe 5, she went public and she gave an interview to one of the news stations there in shadow. She wouldn't show her face, but she was in shadow and brought it to the attention of Oklahomans that she had been sexually assaulted by a Black Oklahoma City police officer. Now they had no choice because they still couldn't arrest him because there was still no evidence, no other accusers, even though they were trying to make Terry Morris's accusation fit Daniel. It never did. So they had to start working on, okay, we got to get this under control, because if we don't get him arrested and indicted and convicted and imprisoned, we're going to have another Ferguson on our hands. And they were not trying to deal with racial riots in Oklahoma City. So you are right. You hit the nail right on the head, Liam, with that. And not a lot of people always get that right off the top, but you did a good job with it. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Robert says, I've watched everything there is on Daniel, and that's why I always do a check-in on him and hope that soon I will get the news that he's free. Well, stick with me, Robert. When that time comes, I think I'll be the first one going live about it. You'll hear it from me first. Well, you might hear it on the news first, but anybody that's, doing anything celebratory in that way, it will definitely probably come from me. Not patting myself on the back or anything, but Liam says, then at the same time, the actual dodgy cops got to show a win. Absolutely. Yes, sir. They sure did. They sure did. And they're disgusting. Kim Davis retired shortly after the trial was over. But she went back to she works in IT now, or technical something or other, which is funny because during her interview with Michelle Malkin, she said she couldn't even work a cell phone. She doesn't know anything about techno. What is it? She said, Cherie, why aren't you here in the interview that she does with Michelle Malkin, the 2-hour video interview? I mean, she says she's telling Michelle Malkin how she couldn't work her cell phone to record Janie Ligon's statement at the hospital. And so she says, I don't know anything about techno. I know that's might not be funny to anybody else, but maybe it was just because we were so tired when we were reading and stuff, different documents. But we're like, well, it's because it's not techno, stupid. Techno's music or, something else. It's not running a cell phone. Anyway, it was probably just because we were so tired. But me and Cherie, that's what it was. She said, I'm not very techno. That's what she said in the interview. And me and Cherie and Kay laughed and laughed and laughed because it was so funny. But then she goes and takes a job after she retired. She goes and takes a job back at the OKC PD as a technology something or other. I can't remember exactly what her title is now, but I'm like, oh my God, they got the worst. She's such a liar, first of all. But anyway, it was funny. Anyway, Robert says, you'll hear it from me too, all the way from Oz. You'll hear me shouting with joy. I know we will, and I can't wait. You and Shaz and Dr. Silkman and anybody else that's, I think Rosie's in the UK. It was so funny. K-Stan, you should hear it. It's hilarious. Yeah. We were like, what the hell is she talking about? She doesn't even know what yeah, she loved sex crimes. She says that in the interview. I just love sex. There's nothing like working a good rape case, she says in the interview. God, she's so gross. You got to listen to it. Oh, man. If those of you who have, just seen little bits and pieces of Kim Davis and Rocky Gregory, or you've seen the interrogation, you have not seen anything until you watch that 2-hour video. No, those are not good hiring practices. Oh, she is just a sick individual. Thank you. I don't recall. I will write him. How exciting. Oh, definitely write to him. He loves, especially when he's getting letters from out of the country. He knows that he has supporters all over the world. But when he gets letters from people outside of the United States, I don't know because I'm not there, but it might make his heart skip a beat or a tear come into his eye because he really truly does love and appreciate all of his supporters and those that are taking time, in other parts of the world to support him means a great deal to him. So anyway, like I said, I could talk about Daniel and his case for hours and hours and hours, but I do have to go to work in the morning. and I do get up pretty early. And so, and if I know Jack, he hasn't eaten. I haven't eaten yet, and Jack has probably not eaten either, unless he's eaten while we were.
I have not. I have steak and gravy and mashed potatoes, and so forth and so on, waiting for me.
Okay. Well, it's time to let you go for sure. Then you are a real true brother to hang out and just listen to me chatter while you've got steak, potatoes, and gravy waiting for you.
Oh, glad to do it. It's always
Right.
interesting and always good to get the message out about Daniel. So glad to help if I can.
Absolutely. All right. You guys in the chat have been amazing. It has been a wonderful chat, a wonderful show that has gone on for over 3 hours now. And I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you all being here and sticking with the whole time. You know, to ask questions and, you know, give suggestions and good and great comments. We really, really appreciate it. And I know Daniel does too. And at some point when Daniel gets out of prison, you know, after he's been home and starts getting bored after a couple of years, hopefully he will take some time to listen to some of these because it will be fun for him in many respects. Anyway, I don't plan on doing anything until next Thursday. I'm not even going to say what I'm going to do next Thursday because I don't know. But at the very least, I'll start working on the next accuser, which I think, like Cherie said, is Regina Copeland, I believe, or Sarita Bowen, one of the two. But if some other crazy thing happens in the Idaho 4 case or some other crazy thing happens in the world, you know, I'll jump on and we'll talk about it. But until then, it will be, don't forget Tuesday night to jump into the Facebook Live with Daniel and his sister. And other than that, I will sign off. We will see you next Thursday. And until then, peace out.
Good night.